Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house for another day in crypto, I guess we call it. We've got a few little things going on with Bitmine and with strategy, of course. We've got the weekly updates to talk about. We're going to hear from Michael Saylor. And of course, don't forget to subscribe on the way in and smash the follow button at the top of X. Let's just pin the show at the top there on X. And don't forget to hit the repost as well. And smash that like or heart button there and go for gold. So kind of cool, kind of cool. All right, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, the stock market, with the weekly updates for strategy and Bitmine. We're going to have Strive tonight. So Strive's coming out tonight. One of the number 7 digital asset treasury for Bitcoin, and we're going to see the results for their SATA preferred stock or preferred equity coming up. We're expecting maybe 2,000-3,000 or something like that purchases. So that's going to be very exciting. And then we're going to get into we're going to talk about their updates to raise more capital to buy more Bitcoin. So that's cool too. We're going to get into Pulsechain, of course. Pulsechain looking good, kind of, right? I'm not going to, no one knows markets 100%, but certainly looking good. Week number 11, fighting for the bottom around 7,000, holding up nicely at the moment. So 11 weeks. It'd be pretty cruel if we did break down this new structure. But actually, it's probably more positive, right? 11 weeks looking more positive, defending that 7,000 line to the upside. So suggest it's a structural support for the upside, unless, of course, we get some sort of cruel, a flash crash, something. But other than that, I think it's pretty positive, right? So probably to the upside, looking better than ever in the chart. So we'll talk about that too. We're going to get into Liberty Swap and GoPulse. Same team. Obviously, B Roots, I think, was the one calling that out. Looks very likely, doesn't it? I think probability of that is increased dramatically. We're going to talk about the updates there around GoPulse and Liberty Swap. Liberty Swap are looking to take over GoPulse. It's good for a brand and useful resource. We'll talk about that coming up. And then, of course, the monster thread number 56 is out. 56 weeks of the hottest Pulsechain news, hot off the press. We're going to go through that today. And we've got some incredible project teams in there as well. Which we're going to go through too. So it's going to be a quite fulsome show. Hope you guys enjoy it. The viewership's been climbing. So spread the word, guys. Hit that repost button on X. This is the largest channel covering consistently on a daily basis for 6 years now, probably over 6 years of Pulsechain, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Because those are the crypto majors. That's where most of the liquidity is coming through. And so it is exciting times. It's exciting times. I saw someone made a comment about what happens if the chart went down another, I think it was 50 or 90% on Pulse, and I was like, well, we're still going to be here because we've been here through bear markets, so no change there. This channel has been through the thick and thin. Sometimes, we've lost a lot of influences because the market's down. They don't want to spread the word about a project where it's down, but that's not how you look at it. That's not how you look at what you do. Is you keep covering through the bear market and the bull market because that's just the way markets are. They have cycles, right? They have cycles, and you just keep going. And look, the rule in markets is buy low, right? Buy low. And so what are we seeing with Pulsechain at the moment for 11 weeks? The low, right? The low. So people have been able to buy low. And of course, as I say, Pulse is as cheap as chips now. People are having it for breakfast, having it for having their drinks for lunch, having it in their dinner for tea. Tea time. So it's at that time can disappear though, right? That time, as soon as the price goes up 50%, you're already getting a hell of a lot more less pulse. So just that's the way you look at it. When you're in crypto, you should always look at the future value of what you're holding, and you just have to bide your time, right? You bide your time. Obviously, you have to think that there's fundamentally things are good in the project or the chain that you're in. But ultimately, that's what we think is going to happen with Pulsechain. And this 11 weeks at the bottom, fighting around 7,000, looking very promising, I think, indeed. Now, is that going to last 12 weeks or 16 weeks? We'll talk about that in the Pulsechain chart. But that's kind of my intro today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and follow on the way in. All right, we've got Frank White now. It's their Bang Bang early gang. A big shout out to Frank White. Now, if you don't know Frank White is got the biggest ecosystem map of Pulsechain with PLS start. So big shout out to Frank White there. Getting a little love there from, I think, was Ramp Now as well with their builders thread that they put out on X. We got Blair in the house as well. Hi all, good to see you, Blair. Big shout out to you. Welcome to the chat as always, one of our very loyal followers. And we've got Francis in the house as well. Always great to see Francis. I love Jesus. I love Jesus too. Nothing like the resurrection, right? Nothing like the resurrection. Hello, Superman. I miss all my body. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, but maybe you mean just hello. Great to see you, Francis. We got Heidi Hi from Francis there. We got Oriz in the house there with the flames. I love that. Good to see the flames in. Feeling good about that too. And a big hello there from Francis. So big welcome to Francis back into the chat there. Also a long time viewer along with Oriz. All right, so let's get into the stock market, shall we? Monday's results. Let's see how we kicked off. Well, looks pretty good actually, because the Dow Jones up another 0.1%, 46 points to 51,078. And you can see we're pretty much on the yearly chart up the top here, this little baby chart. We're at the all-time high, right? So we go to the monthly, and you can see we're at all-time high levels right now on the Dow Jones. Remember, Dow Jones top 30 industrials. Looking at the S&P 500, the big index. This is up 0.25%, up 20 points to 7,600, all-time highs as well. Stock market keeps going, baby. And of course, what's it mostly driven by? AI, right? So AI and all the different 5 levels of AI kind of supply line, right? So all the way from energy chip makers all the way up, right? So this kind of the play. And eventually it's going to get into the IPOs for a lot of the top end applications, right? So that's what we're looking cupping up this year, is like OpenAI and others, right? So there's a whole ton of IPOs going to add a lot of supply to the stock market. That's going to be interesting to see where that dampens down the move later on. Certainly the excitement is on right now. So we'll watch that theme. We're obviously looking for rotation too from AI eventually into crypto. So that's something we're going to be looking forward to in the rest of the year. We've got DG and Hexagon in the house there. Love me some Superman. 5555. Let's go. Absolutely, DG and Hexagon. Welcome to the chat. I like that little picture there. Very cool. All right. So we've got the NASDAQ at the moment up 0.4%, 114 points to 27,086. And we're at all-time highs as well. Now, obviously, we have pullbacks on the way, right, as we move higher. And we're at record highs right now. But are we in a fundamental time, right? Are we in fundamental structure over the years ahead? Let's say 3 to 5 years at least. We are in the intelligence age. We've got a convergence of all these technologies. Obviously, markets will go up and down on the way up. But are we in a fundamental re-rate of economic value in society? In other words, the intelligence age. We've got AI, obviously, arguably perhaps the greatest invention of all time. We'll see. There's always some other great inventions coming down the line, perhaps. Depends on how you measure that, right? But certainly AI is going to be everywhere, and that's a big deal. We also got convergence with humanoid robots. That's about to go into mass manufacture, if not by the end of this year, the beginning of next year. And that's both in from Optimus and other robots, Boston robots and all that sort of stuff in the United States, very advanced. And also China has a pretty advanced robotics as well. Some of them are a little bit naffy, but nevertheless, it's getting there. And Optimus is coming out with Optimus 3, which is going to have hand controls, about 21 or 23 out of the 27 hand controls that we have as humans. And so that's getting very, very competitive with humans, right? And we recently saw one of the more simpler robots compete with the normal human, and the human only bid it out, I think, by 10% over an 8-hour shift. So we're seeing some interesting, stuff happening there. And no doubt we're probably only within a year or 2 years with humanoid robots, passing humans by with all these similar abilities, with physical abilities I'm talking about as well. AI is going to be interesting. AI, can beat humans in a lot of areas, obviously, with knowledge and all that sort of stuff, and potentially synthesizing knowledge, things like that. There'll always be things that AI will not beat out the human mind with, and some of that will be certain types of creativity and other things like that. So, perception of reality and many other things in that zone. So, but it's going to be hugely powerful. And of course, the more power it's given to control, there's a lot less pros there. So we've got all that happening. So we've got AI. We've got, obviously, for AI, you need computer power. You also need a lot of energy. And so you've got that going. Humanoid robots, obviously, Elon Musk talking about billions of those. So that arguably will remove all the jobs, all those big, countries with Southeast Asia, India, places like that. They're doing manufacturing of some form. they're going to be, robots will just do it all, right? So what's going to happen to all that space, right? What's going to happen to all that argument? And so you've got lots of different things happening structurally. Elon Musk, of course, has a very bullish view about the fact that we could see the US economy with all these convergence of technologies, and no doubt energy and battery power will be another one. Still one that I think still got some way to go. And we're also going to see data centers in space, lasers in space through telecommunications. Lots of stuff happening, guys, in the intelligence age, and it's exciting from a technology point of view. Now, obviously, Elon Musk talking about potentially us doubling the economy and no one having to work and there being abundance. Well, you guys know economics has been founding principles based on the problem of scarcity and how do you best allocate it, right? And of course, capitalism has always beaten out communism and socialism and doing that. And so, yeah, let's see where that all heads. Are we going to get to? I don't think we're going to get to that sort of utopia because we have so many bad people in the world, and a lot of them actually controlling most of the Western countries, right? So I don't see us see it as smooth as Elon's indicating, and so we're going to see what happens in that space, right? But it's going to be certainly a technological revolution. Are we going to get a doubling of the U.S. economy? In other words, the stock market, which is kind of my end conclusion, could end up doubling. You've got Nasdaq at 27,000. Is it going to go to 50,000 in the next 3 to 5 years? It's going to do something crazy like that. Certainly under the Trump era, it's very, very likely, as he's supportive with supply economics. But under Democrats, they're all demand economics driven, and that crashes economies. So we'll see what happens in that space. But certainly we're entering a new era with humanoid robots coming in next year. It's going to be pretty crazy. And I think the pinnacle of that, we've got SpaceX launching potentially on the 12th of June. And we may also see by next year potentially a whole ton of starships landing on Mars with dozens and dozens, if not more, maybe a few hundred even, Optimus robots. So that could be the pinnacle of the age, sort of the signature sign of the intelligence age as we move forward. So you can kind of see the vision moving forward here. It's going to be pretty crazy. And of course, we saw NASA talking about moon bases and space. So we are at the beginning of the space age. Led by the private sector, right? Led by the private sector, not by the governments back in the 60s, 70s, but by the private sector. And it is going to be pretty exciting with quite advanced laser communications and many other things, right? So, and of course, AI to help along the way. Don't need an engineer or mathematician to do, the maths for geometry. AI is doing it all, right? So we're moving into a really exciting new zone there. All right, so that's kind of a little bit of brief there. Let's see where the economy goes, right? That was kind of a very long-term vision based on, probably the greatest visionary in our modern time, which is Elon Musk, of course, and delivering SpaceX in only, what about 11 days? Is it 11 days? We might see the biggest IPO, maybe $1.8 trillion launch. It's going to be fun to see. They have an addressable market in their IPO document of I think it was 20. Just trying to remember exactly now. I think it was $28 trillion, guys. $28 trillion addressable market, launching at 1.8 trillion. Could be quite the hold over the next few years, right? As they realize that vision. Pretty exciting. All right, let's see it. All right, so US dollar is still relatively strong at 99. I always reference Trump. When Trump came in, it was 108. So obviously devalued from there, but drill, baby, drill. The volatility index is at 16, so still risk on in that case. Let's go to the commodities. West Texas has eased back a bit, funny enough, even with the drama about Iran overnight, which has shocked the markets a little bit. We're down 0.5% on West Texas, so we're down to $91.68. Still got about a 50% premium in there. So once that wipes out, guys, if there is a solution, that's going to be a very big re-rate for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? For inverse related. So we're going to watch that too. Brent oil down 1%, 80 cents to $94.57. Once again, similar story to West Texas. Gold is just up a tad, $3. Nothing much really, 4,500. We see gold having rotated in the charts, kind of rolled over and rotated a little bit there. It's at a crucial level around about 4,500. Very crucial level there. Keep a look at that. Silver up 0.5%, 40 cents to $75.60. that is also rolled over, had a nice attempt to try and rebound, but certainly has still got rolled over here. And of course, a very key line there would be $67. Don't want to break down past that. And of course, there is fundamental use for silver and gold, of course, in modern electronics, but not relative to the speculative premium in the chart. And copper, of course, indicative that we have got near all-time high copper here. I think it is. Let's go to max chart. All-time high copper, and that is indicative of a very strong economy. Now, talking about a strong economy, I think that we've had a few little mixed results, but essentially we really start the U.S. economy in particular starting to build up, starting to perform higher as Trump promised with the golden age of America and all that $20 trillion of investment last year, and of course the investment this year as well. We are starting to see that take off. We're going to talk about that in a minute. All right, so let's get into the news around the U.S.-Iranian talks. Obviously, there's a little bit of fog of war, bit of who's doing what. We know that there's a lot of power struggles in Iran, particularly between the civil and the military. Given that the civil lost their first two layers of leadership, so there's a lot of that going on, and the military trying to step up as well. There's lots of fights in there. Iranian media reported earlier on Monday that Tehran had halted indirect negotiations with the US and was now moving to completely block the Strait of Hormuz. Obviously, with the Iranian propaganda regime, you're going to get all sorts of half-truths or nonsense in there. So that's going on at the moment. But certainly they have been doing actions as well. So it's always a bit of a mixed bag. The report cited Iran's ire over Israeli military operations in Lebanon. US President Donald Trump offered contrasting statements on the matter. Speaking to CNBC earlier in the day, he said he did not care if the negotiations were over, but Trump also said on a social media post that talks with Iran were continuing at a rapid pace. Separately, Reuters reported that Iran was seeking an interim deal with the United States. Interim deals are always bad deals with terrorist states, remember that? But we'll take it if you want the markets to recover or to go down. Then you'd accept it. But ultimately, we do want to make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear bomb because terrorists with a nuclear bomb will use it. So you might get rich in the next couple of years, but if you're sitting in a city in LA or something and suddenly a nuclear bomb goes off from a container ship, you won't be able to spend your crypto money, will you? You won't be there to do it. U.S. President Donald Trump offered contrasting statements on the matter. Speaking to CNBC earlier, he said he did not care if negotiations were over, but Trump also said on social media that talks with Iran were continuing at a rapid pace. So that is the reaffirmation of that. Separately, Reuters reported that Iran was seeking an interim deal, and that's, I think, a little bit loose. So we'll see what happens there. Trump later said he had advised Israel not to proceed with the major operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Reports of a breakdown of US-Iran talks come after both sides traded airstrikes for the second time in a week on Monday, further testing an already tenuous ceasefire, particularly around the Strait of Hormuz on the Iranian coast, where they wanted to shuttle ships through and make them pay Bitcoin tolls. That's where a lot of stuff was blown up by the Americans, obviously targeting that, monitoring that. So they're even during this ceasefire time, they'll be monitoring very carefully the movements of Iranian forces and military and any potential underground rocket cities and all that sort of stuff. So there's all that stuff going on while we've got this ceasefire. And of course, apparently one of the US drones was shot down that was flying above. And of course, that was also a response that the Americans had onto that as well. This saw market expectations for a comprehensive peace deal largely fade, sending oil prices higher, keeping investors on edge over the economic fallout of a prolonged conflict. But as we can see, oil prices have kind of moved back down, but the base premium, I would call it, is still there. But the extra premium has disappeared, back up to $112, $120, $120. All right, so remember that this is very different for the United States. United States net exporter, right? That all happened under Trump, exporting oil back when Trump 45. And since Trump's been in 47, it's drill, baby, drill, right? And he's completely turned around that. A lot of stuff that Biden was doing, shutting down the oil exploration, all that sort of stuff. As soon as Biden got in, remember, his first order was around shutting down a lot of the new oil and gas stuff. So this is pretty bullish there for Trump. So that has been a good thing. All right, let's jump over to the economic news quickly before we go to crypto, because we do have some really positive stuff for crypto, right? So let's get into it. And that is, we had this week, we just had the ISM Manufacturing Index. You guys know it's one of the two main things that correlates to a bull market in Bitcoin. So if we are leaving Bitcoin's winter and we're moving into Bitcoin's spring, then the ISM is a really great indicator from that, one of our two top ones. So remember, for about 2 years, it was negative. So it was not great for crypto, at least for the big banana run in crypto. But we have seen the last 3 or 4 months it go expand, right? So anything over 50 is an expansion. Well, the market last month we got for April we got 52.7. We expected 53.3 for this month of May. We got 54. So the US economy is expanding on the manufacturing level. And of course, there's a survey of 400 companies. And here we are expanding here, 54. So guys, just be patient. All the fundamentals are heading in the right direction. Obviously, we've got a short-term market impact on crypto right now. But we're actually got a lot of the fundamentals moving to the upside. And the headwinds are becoming tailwinds. So this is what we're watching. We're just going to get through, I think, to July, and we'll have a very clear view that we'll either have locked in everything, all the bullish things, and it's just awesome for the next sort of 18 months. So going to be pretty cool. So anyway, manufacturing index 54, very, very positive news. I thought that was great to deliver that. Obviously, this Wednesday we've got JOLTS report coming in. We've got the non-manufacturing ISM coming in on Thursday. And then we've also got on Friday, we've got the initial jobs claims. And Saturday, we've got a few things around non-farm payroll and unemployment rate, which is expected to be 4.3%, no change there. So still some key data coming in this week as expected. All right, so that's kind of cool. Next week, we've got CPI coming in. So another inflation print. June the 11th, and funnily enough, that's the day before the expected launch of SpaceX IPO. And then on the 12th next week, we've got the PPI, which is the wholesale manufacturing inflation rate, sort of a leading indicator for the CPI coming in on Friday. So big inflation week next week. All right, let's jump over to crypto, right? Let's come over to crypto and see how crypto is folding. Obviously not doing as well as the stock market, which is at record highs. And of course, a little bit odd, right? Because typically crypto would follow software up a little bit, right? And so we're still getting a bit less correlation. But I think we're going to have our day in the sun. We just got to bide our time through June. I think June's kind of the last this month that we're in. Kind of the last month, then we're going to talk about that. We've also had a lot of negative outgoings from the ETFs, probably arguably for the last 10 days, the Bitcoin ETFs in particular, likely going into the AI play, right? So just the AI play on the stock market there is tipping the scales for the time being. But I think that the crypto market's going to get that rotation back in with the debt markets that are going to fuel that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So, we've got a bit of a seesaw between equity and debt markets going on here. So let's get into the total market. So I'm going to refresh this one more time. CoinGecko here, we got 2.5 trillion. And of course, remember the vision is that we will head over, probably the next 3 to 5, maybe 7 years to a $100 trillion market at different intervals, right? They'll be incrementally pushing higher there. And of course, that is 2.5 trillion at the moment. So you're at early days. Down 2.1% today. So a bit of a down day. Let's have a look at the markets. We've got Bitcoin at the moment down 3.4% overnight. Obviously on that scare around the Iranian issue, but also some people are also attributing it to the little baby Bitcoin sell from Bitcoin Strategy, right? Michael Saylor's strategy, selling a little bit of Bitcoin, which we're going to talk about in a second. So that's also a baby spook on the market. So we're down 3.4%. So both of those contributing. Down for the week, pretty big down week. We got to agree 8.3%. 10% is technically a correction. We're basically at that, right? I mean, it's not too far. I don't know what the previous days were like, but 8.3% down. So certainly things have changed to the negative there. Ethereum at the moment down 0.8% at $1,982. We're fighting around that 2K mark. Just earlier it was just above 2K, so we're still fighting around that zone. I don't think we're going to be getting down to the previous low because I think we've put the low in, but this might be the lowest area here, assuming nothing particularly bad happens moving forward. with the Australia moves, but down 5.4% for the week. So actually down less than Bitcoin, interestingly enough, for the week there. BNB down 1.6% at but still up 3.9% for the week at $684. XRP at number 5, down 3.3%, but down 5% for the week at $1.28. The Solana at number 7 is at $80.19. It's down 2.3% for the day, 5.6% for the week. Tron down 2.4%, 7.7% down for the week at 34.2 cents. Was doing quite well for a little bit there. And then we've got Hyperliquid, which flipped Dogecoin. Was it yesterday? I think it was. We talked about that is up 1% today and up 19% for the week. So Hyperliquid getting really re-rated here. And of course, that's $72.94. I think it's been slightly higher at about $73.50. Let's have a quick look at that actually at number 10. But that's been, talking down. I don't know if the chart's going to render, but let's hope. No, it's not rendering. But anyway, I think it's been about $73.50 on the high there recently. So Hyperliquid, they're doing pretty well. All right, so let's jump into the top 100. We've got Lab still pumping it. Look at that, 65% today. WorldCoin has been doing well as well. Digital ID, of course, from Sam Altman. And of course, that's up 19%. Near Protocol, intent-based trading, right? This is what Liberty Swap does, right? Intent-based trading, taking Near, the best of Near, and of course, privacy with Rail. Combine that into the ZK wallet, and that's up 14%. We've got Mincore up 11.6%, and Humanity as well up 11.1%. Humanity, of course, being another digital ID AI kind of chain, right? Humanity there. So we've got WorldCoin and Humanity there. So we've got a theme of digital ID but take it over, which we hate in crypto and freedom, right? Because we know the evil leaders will use it against us. They can't help themselves. They're just evil. So it is the way it is. They go, oh, it's going to be great, guys. It's going to be great. We're going to be able to do these things. Well, we can already do it under existing systems, right? But then they just lie. They go, oh, it's going to be great. We're going to get digital ID. It's going to cause all this stuff, It's going to be really good. And then before you know it, you can't travel. You can't buy things. You can't buy food. Because they don't like your political positions, or they just want to oppress you and take all your wealth. All right, so this is how crazy the people are that we've got in the West. All the progressives, right? The progressives, the crazies, right? So that's kind of where we are on the top 5. Let's go to the top 100 for the week. We got Lab at 284%. So congratulations if you've been in Lab. And of course, we'll just jump on Lab because quickly there. You can see Lab is the first all-in-one trading ecosystem, enabling fast execution, the lowest market fees, and vital incentive layer powered by Lab. So it's having a really good day in the sun there on the BNB chain, doing very well indeed. So Lab there, looking at number 1, up 284%. Humanity, of course, I just talked about that, up 187% for the week. So both of these are still climbing on the 24 hours. So the FOMO is still there. And then we got Rain up 66% for the week. Stellar XLM has done pretty well too, 58% on Stellar blockchain there. And then, of course, we've got Binance Life up 32.8%. But all those three are down on the 24 hours at the moment. All right, let's jump over to the top 1,000 gainers. We've got Solstice up 85%, Lab up 65%, and we've got Stable IR USD up 58% at 83 cents. Trending overall, we've got Lab, Hyperliquid, and Bitcoin. Whoa, so even though Bitcoin's down and Ethereum's down, there are some real winners there, particularly Digital ID and some of the new chains and lending doing pretty well. It's kind of the play. All right, so let's jump over to the Bitcoin and zoom in on that a bit deep dive. Now, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and smash the follow on X, and importantly, hit the repost button on X. Doesn't take you much to do it. Just hit that little repost button and send it out. Now, obviously, the Crypto Night Show is the largest Pulsechain influencer doing daily shows. We're off occasionally for illness or travel or something, but apart from that, generally daily for over 6 years now. Right back from back at the beginning of Hex. And of course, don't forget to smash that follow and share the channel around if you're loving Pulsechain coverage. And we're the only channel that does full Pulsechain coverage, right? So we cover everything essentially. So get out there, folks. Get out there. And of course, also the Monster Thread is an official publication of the Crypto Night Show channel, covering all the hottest weekly news every week for 56 weeks now. So really, really fun times. All right, so Bitcoin at the moment, as you can see, is still over the 50-month moving average. 50 months, can you believe it? In yellow, and that is currently at $66,400. We've got Bitcoin at 70,500, so still defending the 70K line, and we're still above the 50 monthly moving average. and I think that we're in a very good spot there. Our recent low was back here in February, and of course we got 60K, right? 60K was in. I still think that's the low, and I think we are coming out of crypto winter into spring. So I'm expecting by July for that to really be exciting, and I'm going to show you why that is the case, not based on hopium, but on fundamentals. So let's jump over into the big news. So obviously Strategy, which is formerly MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, of course, the number one digital asset treasury in the Bitcoin. As you guys know, there's basically two major crypto corporate categories, ETFs and digital asset treasuries. And of course, then we have a third, I guess, which is individual corporates. But basically, this is the number one digital asset treasury. It is now the biggest corporate holder of Bitcoin, and Strategy MSTR has now officially sold Bitcoin. They sold 2.5 million in Bitcoin last week, so the first time to see it happen. And this is part of their weekly disclosure. On June the 1st, Strategy announced updates with respect to its Bitcoin holdings. It sold 32 Bitcoin, can you believe it? Remember, it's got 845,000 Bitcoin. They sold 32. Now, this would have been tax accretive, right? In other words, it would have been to a tax benefit. And that was essentially at $2.5 million at an average sale price of $77,135. So this also puts to bed a lot of the criticism. Michael Saylor always saying, never sell, never sell, never sell, always buy. And of course, this is really what he calls to inoculate the market. But we'll see. So that is where we are right now. And it's not really a big deal from my point of view. Let's talk about this 32 Bitcoin in the sense of Strategy. So now they've kind of shaken out the market's expectations around selling and hopefully got rid of that to some degree, although, it just depends on the size of the sale. But that's where we are right now, and potentially that contributed to the down market that we had overnight, right? That's the kind of argument there, although we were already going down before that. So let's hear Michael Saylor's view on this with regard to selling.
I'm very famous for saying never sell your Bitcoin, and that's why the internet went crazy when we said we might sell it. But if I was being more precise, I'd say never be a net seller of Bitcoin. It just wouldn't have been so viral or so catchy to say never be a net seller of Bitcoin. I think that in these periods, even if we were to sell one Bitcoin, we'd be buying 10 to 20 more Bitcoin. So you're really talking about a situation where we buy 10 Bitcoin, sell one Bitcoin, buy 9 net Bitcoin, and continue to accrete Bitcoin. It should be a non-issue after people understand it. But right now it's a colorful area of commentary.
Is it possible for you to comment, how do you sell one Bitcoin and buy 10?
Yeah. So the number one Bitcoin accretion engine is Stretch. We sold $3.2 billion of STRC in April. So we bought $3.2 billion of Bitcoin. The dividend is about 80 to 90 million. So in the month when we're raising $3 billion, we need to come up with 80 or 90 million dollars to pay the dividend. So you would be, in essence, you would be buying 30 Bitcoin, selling 1 Bitcoin, right? Our break-even rate is 2.3%. So what that means is that if we sell Stretch, if we issue Stretch credit equal to 2.3% of our Bitcoin holdings, then that means we will be a net buyer of Bitcoin forever, even if we sell Bitcoin to pay the dividend. Another point is that if Bitcoin appreciates 2.3% a year, we can pay the dividends forever, right? And continue to grow value, right? And we can do it without selling any common equity. So the break even is 2.3. Right now we've sold about $5 billion of STRC in the first 4 months of the year. So we're running on a pace to have an issuance rate of 15 or 20% this year. 2.3% is the break even. So you buy 20, you sell 2, you net 18, right? The company, as long as it grows, is going to buy more Bitcoin than it sells. I expect we'll be a net buyer of Bitcoin in every month and every quarter, going on forever.
All right, so that there is the logic about what's happening. And we saw just last month, of course, them buy 25,000 Bitcoin for May. and what will June behold, right? So June, we will see that they're going to move from monthly to bi-monthly or fortnightly dividend payments, and that will, I think, kick into gear at the beginning of July. And then the other thing is that we will also see Strive also moving to essentially daily. I think it's 250 days, but they call it daily to their assist, which has been performing like a boss, raising probably at least maybe 2,000-3,000 Bitcoin or more in the last just the last cycle that we just finished a couple of days ago. So and then we're expecting more digital asset treasuries on the move as well, including Metaplanet and Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and others to buy, not just with raising through debt markets, but also equity as well. So it's game on, I think, really kicking in by July. Everything is absolutely game on. It's going to be ramped up, and the frequency of capital raised is going to ramp up because the dividend frequency is increased. So it's going to be pretty fun. All right, let's jump over to Ethereum. Ethereum at the moment, obviously the weaker of the two, but not down as much this week as we can see. So we're at $1,968, so still holding up pretty well. We had our low back in February as well. Bitcoin did 60K, while we did $1,742 on Ethereum. Unlike Bitcoin, though, we're not above the 50 moving average. We're below it. And what we can see in the monthly chart is that any time that Ethereum was below the 50 moving average, it's been a great buying zone, right? A great buying zone. So you can feel pretty comfortable in the zone. Obviously not financial advice, do your own due diligence, but just based on the chart, you can see that generally that's been a good buying zone, and then it rallies above the 50 moving average. The other thing that we see in the chart is that we've had resistance at 5,000 on two big occasions, 2021 bull market and also our mini bull run last year in September last year, October, and that is at 5,000 as well. Once you can see if buying below the 50 moving average is a good time to buy, then you got some pretty good chance of good growth and returns up to 5K. But of course, we are expecting it to break 5K after this sort of accumulation zone because the fundamentals on Ethereum are going through the roof, right? Transactions, tokenization, it's all on takeoff time, right? So when we say takeoff, that's kind of a beginning phase, and we're ramping up big time, right? So I think we're up to about 32 billion in tokenization. That's just taking off. We've got Robinhood, Ondo, X stocks, Nasdaq. I mean, it's all just starting to take off. There are other major players about to roll out, and we heard the SBET chief executive talking about that coming up to the market. So we're expecting to go from billions, I would argue, within the next 18 months, probably a trillion plus tokenization market. That's pretty cool. We saw, I think it's a DTCC or DCTT, I think it is. They got multi-trillion-dollar management. They're coming as well. So I think this is going to be huge. And so Ethereum price, Ethereum ETH will catch up to Ethereum chain, right? Value with stablecoins booming, something like 330 billion, and of course the tokenization on takeoff. And then of course we've got the AI story, and that's on takeoff too. And that's going to ramp up very, very quickly. Okay, so you can see the value of the chain is going to be pretty awesome. Then we've got people like Tom Lee, Bitmine Immersion, bringing over finance, bringing over institutions along with SBET, and also doing mass adoption with Mr. Beast. All that's going to play out over the next 6 to 24 months, right? Those are the indicative timeframes as the foundation is laid for finance on Ethereum. So Ethereum will catch up, and therefore we will get to that breach of 5K moving forward. And then we will see a massive re-rate, and that's where we get to, within a 24-month period, get to $12,000 to $22,000 Ethereum, right? And then maybe further afield, maybe 3 to 5 year time, we could end up getting a completely network re-rate as a payment system to maybe 60K ETH. That's kind of where some of the numbers are. And the top of that range, maybe in 10 years' time, $250,000 ETH, right? We also, if we get those massive volumes, we should get EIP 1559 getting to the point where it's burning a lot of ETH as well. That'd be a very bullish sign. So you can start to see things are on takeoff phase, and so things are all aligning. The ETH story takes a little bit longer than the Bitcoin story because Bitcoin is just based on debt markets, which is virtually instantaneous on 2-week cycles, which is going to be more frequent by the time we get to July. And you can kind of see the fundamental argument. So it's not hopium, it is fundamentals that we're looking at moving forward here. And people might look back at this zone right where we are right now under the 50-month moving average and go, OMG, that was the time I could have got in and rode that baby all the way up, right? All right, so that's kind of the thesis there. Let's go into the daily chart here. We can also see that. So let me just auto log this. Let's auto fit that. And you can see that at the moment we've got the 50-day moving at $2,163. So we're going to get over that, of course. 200-day at $2,489. And we're all the way down at 1964 right now. So I'm not expecting it to go back down to 1742, which is the low we had in February back here. We are back in the middle of that zone, but I think we might, good chance we might find support at 1940 or above. So we'll see whether that holds up. Obviously I don't know the markets, but what the future is going to do exactly, but that's kind of my feeling there at the moment. All right, so that's kind of the play. It's kind of like a double test as well as we move forward here. So we're going to look for a reversion, and of course we should get those bullish news around Bitcoin and the digital asset treasuries in June. Hopefully we also get good news around the Clarity Act, around the Bitcoin Act as well. And of course, we go to the upside from there by July, right? That's kind of the thing. I think we're really in that transition phase between crypto winter and spring. And spring is going to get the affirmation in June. That's kind of the play. We've got so much stuff happening with the digital asset treasuries and the regulations. And of course, we've still got the uncertainty around the Iranian conflict. So got two bullish things. Or will these headwinds become bullish things? We will see. But that month is very, very key. The debt market stuff, the equity, preferred equity, that's kind of a no-brainer. I think that's pretty much in the bag. So that's hyper bullish, right? Because we're talking about billions of dollars of capital raised to buy Bitcoin. So that's the fundamental upside. ETFs will then have to jump back in and accumulate, right? And if we get the Clarity Act, the Bitcoin Act going through, then that's even another bullish thing. It becomes from a headwind to a I guess supporting one, and away we go. So the only question remains is still the Strait of Hormuz and the Iranian conflict, right? Which cause that impacts a longer story around inflation, which we'll see how long that lasts for. But the US is actually quite insulated itself, so that's what gives us a bit of a hedge on that impact. The rest of the world, not so much, particularly all the net zero progressive leaders who are all a bunch of nutters. They get to pay the price, right? They get paid the price. Hopefully they all get voted out. Fingers crossed, man. We might save the West if that happens. We need to get pretty strong governments in to save the West because these progressive globalist Marxist guys are all suicidal, right? So they get to live the dream while they destroy the societies they're ruling, right? That's kind of it. Rule the ashes, as they say. Rule the ashes. But we don't want that. We want to hopefully get rid of them and save the countries once and for all. And the best time to do it is under the Trump leadership, right? The last man to save the West. That's kind of the play. And it is fundamental because the alternatives are pretty horrible, All right, so there we are, $1,964. Let's go to Bitmine Emission with their news, the #1 digital asset treasury on Ethereum. And we can see we got the weekly update overnight. And Bitmine provided its latest holdings update for May 26th. 12.3 billion in total cryptos plus moonshots. I see moonshots more as not only the big X plays, but actually part of the puzzle of bringing finance to Ethereum, right? That's the whole point. So we've got 5.4 million ETH is being held by Bitmine. Pretty awesome, actually, isn't it? And they've got 203 Bitcoins. There used to be a Bitcoin miner. Remember, this is only since the 28th of June last year, right? So it's pretty outstanding stuff. I mean, what's that? 11 months, 5.4 million ETH. Now, they've done a lot of over-the-counter trades as much as possible. They did buy a lot higher when the price was pumping in September, October. But what I would suggest to you is that the average price is probably somewhere being DCA down to probably about 31, 3,200, somewhere in that ballpark is probably where they're at, right? Because they were buying up in the 4,000s as well, but they've also bought down below the 2,000s, right? So I think they're probably sitting somewhere in the 3,100 mark, somewhere in that place for their overall Bitcoin. So let's jump through here. So that is cool. We also had, let me just save that actually. I'm going to go. Bitmine meets eligibility criteria to be added into the Russell 1000. So this is a bullish thing. So the ticker for a Bitmine emission on the NASDAQ is, New York Stock Exchange is BMNR. That's a common stock. That's the one that collects all the Ethereum. And of course, Bitmine meets eligibility criteria to be added into the Russell 1000. The final updated list is published June the 18th. reconstituted index takes effect June 26. So we could see some massive buying in that zone for Bitmine. So that could be a nice little uplift, maybe 10 to 15%, maybe even higher. We could see uplift with Bitmine, especially the fact that they've reduced the pace of the Ethereum buying, right? So that means less potential shares raised. And so this is only an upside catalyst for Bitmine. So just take note of that. Many active managers only buy equities on the Russell 1000. So remember, they got into the Russell 3000, but they're already, because of the value of the company, over 10 billion, they're already eligible for the Russell 1000. That's the idea there. Remember, not only do they get passive investing from the market with the index, but active managers who actively buy will also buy over the top, right? So you get that extra buying as well. So that's kind of the idea there. Estimated 20-25% of the market cap of a stock is held by passive index funds. So this is a massive re-rate potentially for Bitmine. So we could get a quite good short-term uplift, 10-15%, and then higher over time as the active managers and passive managers for the index buy up, right? So bullish. And as we get higher and higher in the future, there's no reason why, if we get Ethereum re-rating and everything, that the S&P 500 index may get, we may get qualified for that with Bitmine as well. So that could be pretty exciting too. So you can kind of see things are just be patient, things are playing out really well. That's what I'm saying. Fundamentals are turning by July for the digital asset treasuries for Bitcoin. Finance is being strategically moved over to Ethereum as the principal winner, right? By all measures, it's essentially the number one chain winner there of the smart contracts. And we've also got the stock market and the indices now supporting these as well. So we've got all the institutions buying up these companies, SBET and Bitmine, along with the Bitcoin strategy ones. Then we've also got the indexes now coming in and buying up these companies, and they have to buy. So you can see this is really changing. So just be patient. That's all you have to do. And I mean, if you're up and down on a day, people in crypto cry. One day it's up, they're happy. One next day it's down as they cry. But actually, this is a longer pace game, and just pacing this game, and everything is heading in the right direction. The fundamentals are heading in the right direction. All right, so over the past week, we acquired 26,000 ETH. Well, this is quite different from the previous week, isn't it? In our view, ETH prices are not reflecting the strength of Ethereum fundamentals, and that's why I said, the ETH price will catch up later on. But then again, this is not surprising given we are in the early stages of crypto spring. And I would agree with that assessment. Bitmine is expected to reach the alchemy of 5% sometime in 2026. So that's when they're going to stop buying ETH anyway, technically speaking. They're going to stop at 5%. Now, from a network point of view, they could go up to like 10 to 12%. That's kind of quite reasonable without having too much of control. So I don't know whether they're going to go there. Unlike strategy, like MicroStrategy is probably going to go past 5%, maybe up towards 10%. We'll see how that goes. But certainly Bitmine, I don't know whether they're going to go that far. But certainly weekly ETH buys here. They got 27,000 they bought in the last week. Funny enough, the week before, on the 26th of May, they bought 112,000. That was a surprise, remember, because they were going to be reducing their buys. But they said the ETH price was so low, it was worth getting, right? So that's kind of the play there. Pretty awesome. So let's go to number 4 here. As of May 25th, 26th, Bitmine total staked ETH stands at 4.7 million. So they got 5.4. They've only staked 4.7. And so they've still got more to do. What's that about? I don't know, 90%, something in that ballpark. Annualized stake. I don't know why they haven't staked the rest of the 10. Probably they've got some things around finance, maybe the apps. I kind of feel like maybe they're going to be helping facilitate mass adoption. Maybe they've got some plans around that finance / mass adoption play that they're going to do in apps. So maybe that's why they keep liquid staking, right? Maybe 10%. SBET, remember, has pretty much had their ETH staked from the beginning, like all staked. So this obviously looks like a different strategy being played out here. So we'll keep a tab on the staking levels from Bitmine, because remember, they're doing something bigger with finance and mass adoption through Mr. Beast. So we'll see where that all lands. And of course, they got their own Maven staking protocol, right? Analyzed staking revenues are now 296 million. Woo-hoo-hoo, 300 million. Now, obviously, if ETH goes up 5 times, then that goes up 5 times, right? So that 300 million goes to 1.5 billion, and that's not even all their ETH staked, right? So you can see how this quickly gets to, if they had all the rest of the ETH staked, to something like $2 billion of revenue a year. See how that all works. So it's just a marathon, just a patient game, but looking pretty good right now. So that's kind of the play. We can see the old chart there. with the 300. That's if they do 90%, which is where they're at the moment, I think. As if they have all the ETH stakes, and they're at 78. So if they get to all the 5%, where they get to 6 million ETH, they'll be at 329 million in terms of revenue at the current prices, right? So obviously we do a 5x from here, go from 2 to 10K, then you're suddenly at 1.5, heading towards $2 billion. Now if they go to 20K, right? 20K, then now you're up at $3 billion plus revenues. OMG, that's huge amongst the even leading banks, right? And with no debt, no debt, and they'll have some overheads, but essentially no debt, and heading towards finance going over, and of course the mass adoption. So the re-rate for the company could be just ginormous, right? It's just a patience game there for BMNR. All right. Now, according to the data from Fundstrat, BMNR traded average daily volume of 628 million, 5-day average. Now that's come down from, it was doing like 1.1 million or so, but it's still number 225 in the US stocks at a 5,700. It's ahead of Blackstone, right, but behind Marathon. Now, the one thing I'll say about that is that, Bitcoin strategy, Michael Saylor's strategy, the number one digital asset treasury, and Bitmine, essentially those two are dominating digital asset treasuries with over 90% of the volume, right? And so that means that's all the big players coming out. That's why they want to come out. So it's a real strength there. All right. So a real strength. And we'll keep a lookout for that, because that can rebound too. They can get back to the top 100 very quickly also. So you can kind of see where that all leads. So that there is the play right now. How much cash they on? They got $446 million of cash. So still sitting in some decent cash there. Looks like they may have done a little bit of intraday MNAV raising there. So presumably some of the intraday was over 1. We know we got up to 96, 97% on the daily. Perhaps there was a little bit of intraday MNAV above 1. I'm just assuming that, given the fact that they bought that 26 million ETH and still got 446 million in cash, which was pretty similar to what they had last time. So they must have raised a little bit of cash there. Remember, their policy is to raise positively over 1 MNAV, and the only way I could see them doing that is intraday. And so, that's what I'm assuming that's happened there. All right, so that is Bitmine Immersion's announcement. So pretty good, right? Another 26,000 ETH locked away pretty much. Let's go to Pulsechain. We're 52 minutes on the hour, so we spend a good amount of time on the stock market, the economic news, on the strategy, and on the ETH and the Bitcoin digital asset treasuries. Obviously, we've had 10 days of sales essentially in the Bitcoin's ETFs. So that's been a bit disappointing, but that money will probably flow back, because by July, it's all the Bitcoin's going to be bought up by all the digital asset treasuries on Bitcoin, and they're going to have to come in and pay higher prices. That's essentially what's going to happen, guys. So keep a lookout for that. So I think June's really like the last month, and it's a very important month, because we've got all those votes going on, all those changes going on for digital asset treasuries, where they're becoming more frequent payers. Basically vampiring the $300 trillion debt markets with superior products. And also we've got the regulatory acts going through the Senate, and hopefully we'll get votes on that by the 7th of July, right? Or 4th of July, I should say. But that's still a question mark, right? There's still a question mark. Let's put it at 60% at the moment. But obviously that's going to be mega huge too, and it will open up a floodgate of capital. Now, the one thing we'll say about that is that still some of the banks are still trying to shut down the Clarity Act, because they don't want DeFi and CeFi and crypto to be able to offer yield, right? Even active yield, they're nervous about that because they want to protect their bank deposits, right? So we'll see what happens at that space. Banks are pretty much like cartels, and if you've ever been to one or worked for one, you know what they're like. And so let's see. But we want innovation. America wants to capture innovation, and that's where crypto and blockchain comes into play, right? Regardless of all that, we are already seeing the markets move into the blockchain and crypto. So it's already game on, guys. The regulatory stuff would just ensure that America had clear-cut regulations. Otherwise, a lot of the innovation gets done offshore, which is a loss for America. Remember, the stablecoin boom is very important, like USDC and other stablecoins for the US dollar, because it creates demand for US reserves for the currency. So this is huge, right? Because they have to have collateral backed in US dollars. So that is huge for the United States. They need that. And so this is a big deal from that point of view. Secondly, of course, tokenization is superior technology, more efficient on the blockchain. And of course, you can trade 24/7. A lot of really big benefits there. We already see Hyperliquid benefiting from that, and a few other chains. So kind of cool, kind of cool. We got Lupa Morland House. When is the next video on X1 blockchain? Yeah, it's been a while since I covered that. I have been wanting to cover that recently, so I'll try and do that shortly in the future. And I've been keeping track of X1 to some degree, but we'll try and cover that too. All right, that is it's kind of Solana 2.0 if you guys are not familiar. From Jacqueline, yeah. I always get mixed up with Jake Sharp, who's disappeared, gone to the dark side for a while. We'll see whether he popped back up with the buy and burn on Titanx at some stage. All right, so that's kind of it. Let's get into the Pulsechain. Pulsechain is a full system state copy of Ethereum, so it's battle tested technology. We've got through any weaknesses around copy contracts with the major ones. So hopefully that's all done. And we've got a pretty robust chain. The other big thing, of course, is that we get free innovation upgrades. So whatever the ETH Foundation is rolling out, we get the EIEP upgrades for free. And that includes eventually quantum protection, potentially if that's achieved by 2029. And the Pulsechain gets all that for free. So I don't think that's been priced in. And that's, I think, going to be pretty interesting moving forward. We got Pulse at the moment on day, what day is it? Day 1,116 since Pulsechain launched on the 30th of May 2023, a full system state fork of Ethereum on the 10th of May 2023. Now, if you wonder why I repeat those dates, it's just for new people that come in that are not really familiar with Pulsechain. So that's the only reason why I do it. I know those that have watched regularly probably hear me say it probably 1,000 times, but that's just for new people. All right. So, all right. So we've got Pulse at the moment is sitting at 507069. So I think that's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. So it might be down from from all time. So what's the all time low? The all time low is it might be down from all time. Was it 96% down? I think it is based on all data. Yeah, based on this one. But the reality is that we are finding a bottom, and we're going to talk about that in the chart in a minute. So that's why I'm saying it's a good thing. We do, it's always nice to be able to buy cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, but at some stage you want to buy the bottom. You want the bottom to form, and you want a re-rate in the chart, right? You can't have it always, constant DCAing strategy, and then eventually you've also got to have a fundamental value of the chain as well, right? Otherwise it becomes a dead chain. We've seen plenty of dead chains, right, that go dead, and volume goes to not zero, but pretty close to it because of AMM pulls, right? But that's kind of it. We are bullish about Pulsechain. Obviously, there's lots of fundamental goodness about it, so we've covered a few of those points. Hex at the moment, PHEX just sitting over 0.11 of a penny, down 0.6%. So not too bad a day yesterday. Yesterday was slightly green. Today is just slightly down. PROVEX at the moment, 40.43, down almost 5%. So PROVEX definitely waning, and we'll see whether a market maker comes in there. But essentially, it's gone towards where I thought it would go, right, fundamentally, after the initial speculation and market maker that helped kick that into gear. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. We got Craig Pitt in the house. Morning all. Hey, great to see you, Craig. Welcome to the chat as well. If you guys are new to the channel, then don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and also smash the follow on X. And importantly, hit the repost button on the X posts. Now, if you were following other Pulsechain influencers as well, maybe RX Max or C7 or something like that, don't forget to hit the repost on their one as well. And of course, these are the guys that are sticking around during the bear market and waiting for the bull market to run. And so definitely give them a follow and recommend their channels because they're the ones that are diamond hands, not emotional. We don't get emotional. It's funny because sometimes I had a comment, like I said yesterday, I had a comment on there saying, "Oh, what happens if the chart went down 9%?" Well, so what? So what? We're streaming through bear markets, man. It's kind of irrelevant. We already watched the chart go down 96%. I mean, what the heck? So it is what we believe in is the fundamental value of the chain. And for those that also believe in the magic carpet ride later on, we believe in that too, right? So we're still backing all that. But they're both exclusive of each other, right? Mutually exclusive value drivers. All right, so we've got Pulsechain at the moment is at 505, down just a fraction at the moment. And then Ink Token is up over 0.75% at 33 cents. So those are the Richard Hart cores, and they are typically the top performers in terms of volume. Let's go to the validators. You guys, we know we always do the main key metrics. Validators at the moment, 49,254. No change there. Gas prices, let's have a look at that. 640,000 beats, still on the low end. What's that? 96 pulse for a Pulsechain swap. In US cents, that is 0.0068 US cents. So it's pretty cheap. At some stage, we want that to go higher in price, right? Because that reflects a more valuable chain. So at some stage, on average, we want that to go up. I know it sounds a bit contrary, but you do want the chain to get more valuable. And so that's just one of the indicators. Let's have a look at the, we don't want to get super expensive, but that might be inevitable with demand. We'll see what happens in the future. Looking at the bridge value, we're down again. So we're at all-time lows here at 50, down 50 at 50.9 million. So it's a new all-time low from my guess. I think so. Yeah, I think that is. Yeah, 50. We're at 2.83% for the 7 days, 6% for the 30 days there. And it looks like a new all-time low, 50.9 million. And that's mostly, of course, USD Tether, USDC, DAI, and ETH that have been bridged into Pulsechain. A lot of that capital is just sitting idle, has been sitting there for a long time. There's also, 18 Bitcoin in there as well, sitting on the sidelines as well. So that's essentially it. And of course, we did have CST. That is pretty much dead burger, 15 mil. And we've still got, I think this still includes the liquidity forks, yeah. So we've still got 4 liquidity forks contributing as well, backed by Pulse, PulseX, Hex, and INC token. And we're expecting at least 1 or 2 more liquidity forks, which will be not single chain, like just based on Pulsechain, but actually multi-chain solutions. One of those is going to be Vault 369 coming from Fast Abdul, which we're very excited about. Looking forward to that, which apparently is still in public testnet. No doubt he's waiting for some sentiment change in the chart is my expectation around that. But we'll see what Fast Abdul comes up with. But that could be pretty promising. Now, will it outdo liquid loans backed by Pulse? I think it's got a chance of doing that, actually. So I'm excited about that. Rather than doing 500,000 to 1 million, will it do, I think liquid loans is about 3 mil, is it? Will it do more than that, for example? That's kind of the idea. All right, so that is a bit of a summary. Let's get into the liquidity. You guys know I've been following liquidity. It's kind of a new thing I've added in there just to give people a sense of the value of the chain, what's going on. And of course, if we do get a bull run, these numbers just go up. Just like prices go up in X's, all this stuff will go up in X's, and we'll have more pools doing more money. So that's kind of the idea. And obviously, there's a lot of work going on to try and track new users, track new capital, and of course, also benefit from the bull market ahead when liquidity starts to flow, and the wealth effect kicks in as well. So let's have a look at the Pulse chain. We're 24 hours. We've got Pulse at 2.58 million on Pulse coin list. We've got PDAI sitting at 617,000. So a real big jump in PDAI. We've got a number of projects supporting PDAI. A key one, of course, is OG WebChef's PDAI printer. That's been adding a lot of supportive volume on PDAI. Obviously, we have other projects, printers out there that are also, giving you PDAI. We've got the P-Mint, which has been popular lately. We've got Ethos. I think it's Ethos that's doing PDAI. I always get a little confused because they cover so many printers, but that is kicking into gear. And so we've actually got a rise in price. So 30% in the last week and 8% in the last 24 hours. We're up to 0.2 of a penny on the old PDAI. There as well. Now, I did see, I think it was B-Roots, was it? Comp talking about the fact that he was the one that made PDAI popular, but it looks like PDAI is doing its own thing regardless of B-Roots, right? So, the market is talking, right? The market is talking there. We got Wrapped ETH there. It's at 544K for bridged in from Ethereum. So it's doing pretty well. We got P-Hex there at 350K, PulseX at 275K, ProveX at 231K, Hex from EHEX at 200K, and Peacock there looking quite good, 153K. That's a big jump in volume. Price is not up though. Is up on the last hour, but actually still down 8.4% for the week, and just below 1 penny there. But the volume's kicked up. That's over 3 times, almost 4 times the volume of yesterday. So I'm not quite sure what's driving that, but certainly big there. Maybe a bit of sell pressure going in there as well. Ink token at 128K, Wrap Bitcoin 122K. So we've got 10 coins. 10 coins. Now, we got down as low as 5 coins, was it yesterday? Or the day before? I think it was yesterday. So we're up at 10 coins now, or 10 pairs that are doing over 100K. So that is good news. That is pretty good news. That's going to lead us well into... Now, I just want to pick out a few of these lower ones below 100K. And we've got a Troper from James Marie at 80K. We've got the world's greatest PDI printer, which I said is a big one supporting the old PDI. That's up 70K. So that's contributing a lot there, and up 37% for the week, sitting at 78 cents. So been a really good performer. We've been covering that pretty early, not right from the beginning, but certainly picking it up fairly early. I think we picked it up like 65 cents and watched it go to 55 and then back up to 90. Now it's at 78. Just over the last few days. We got a few others there. Teddy Bear from James Maria, along with the Troper, 46K there. USDC from Hyperlane, 43K, and we saw some support from Liberty Swap for Hyperlane one. And then we got number 15, I guess is a nice place to finish. Oh, actually, we're going to go a bit lower. We got the Grays currency, our first big DAO token there. A lot of big support there for that one, 36K. And then we got number 16, honorable mention will be Wrap Bitcoin from Ethereum, 40K there. On that one, so that is actually the real Bitcoin there, the wrap one imported from Ethereum. All right, so that is the leaderboard there. So volume's up quite strongly there, 10 pairs. Wouldn't it be cool? We get the volumes way higher and get up to 10. We move from 5 to 10 pairs up to 20, 30, 40 pairs, right? That's going to be fun. So just remember that for a future. All right, let's jump over the Pulsechain chart. Well, Pulsechain is fighting for the bottom, right? Fighting for the bottom. Was it J-Lo? Now we're at the bottom. Now we're here or something. Only way is up. Only way. That's another song, right? Only way is up. All right. So you can see we have got different structure, right? I've argued that many times. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks now. We're in week 11 of fighting at the bottom. And we're fighting at the 7,000 mark. We've had a little bit of oscillation below it. In other words, we've reached an all-time low last week of 506798. We're currently at 507072. So if I remove all the zeros, the 5 zeros, I just use the 7,000. That's the logic, right? So if you hear me say 7,000, just ignoring the zeros, just for ease of use. But we're on the weak side still. We're not on the upper end of this trading zone, which is 8,000 approximately. So we're still at the bottom range there. But we've been here defending the 7,000 for 10, 11 weeks. And we've got the RSI just skimming along the bottom, saying it's skimming along the oversold period there on the weekly. How long until we get an upside? So I think because we've been here 11 weeks, is it more probable that we are going to go to the upside? I think it is, given the RSI. And so we are waiting. When are we going to take off? Is it going to be some of this good news in the old crypto majors around the digital asset treasuries and the Clarity Act and things? And the market maker suddenly starts to come in to help us on the way up. That is the kind of the play, right? That's the short-term play. Are we going to be going up there? Now, obviously, we're in this mega downtrend on Pulsechain, and we have had this big yellow line, big mega downtrend over 3 years. We've had 10 red month candles, right? So we go to the monthly. We've had 10 red months. Look at those red months there. But they've been getting smaller. And what did we close with last month? On the 10th month, we closed with Gravestone Doji, right? Which is indicating that the price opened and closed essentially where it was from the beginning to the end of the month, right? So that suggests that maybe we've had exhaustion in the sellers, right? So maybe the selling is finally over. That's the kind of the implication I'm taking there. And with the RSI relatively low on the monthly there at 37, but of course the weekly even lower, right? Skimming along the bottom here at 32. So let's see what happens. Now, we have not had structure like this in all this time, right? We've had a couple of times where it's been moving sideways back in January, February 25, arguably here in October 25. And that's, very little structure looking like that. That's kind of moving sideways, but with quite a decent volatility range. But every time those were happening, in both of those periods, we were going down on the RSI just below the 50, right? So every time we were going down here and just below the 50, this is the first time that we've had a relatively more narrow range and going for 11 weeks with the RSI actually not going down, but at the bottom. So this is kind of why we're saying it's a structural change in the chart. Is the bottom being formed right now? And often when we have bottom forms, how long is it going to last for? 3 months, 4 months? The shortest time might be 8 weeks, and we're already up past that, right? We're already into the third month on 11 weeks. So is it going to be 12 weeks? So we got a week, 2 more weeks to go. We're going to get picked up in June with all the bullish news. Do we have to wait another month after that? It's going to be 4 months before we really take off. And that assumes we don't get any, black swan event that sends us down, or any major whale that sends us down from here. It also assumes we don't get any sort of, a capitulation wick, those sort of scenarios. So are we, because we've been here 11 weeks, we've got the RSI pretty low, are we got enough energy? Is the market saying, oh, no, I'm done selling? We got that monthly candle with the open and close pretty much the same price. We are going to go up here. We just need a market maker, a bit of sentiment move to change the direction. And if we do that, are we going to make enough of a move that we get a higher high here? And that means get to 1700 and over 1200 there. Maybe come back, get over 1200, get to 17, come back, retest 1200, and then zigzag our way up in some way or direction, some way to the upside, and finally break the mega downtrend on Pulsechain. And then everybody saying, forever down chain, it becomes a optimistic chain where you can make good returns, right? And maybe we get that positive momentum switching around from the negative there. So that's kind of the play there. And then if we add on, of course, the magic carp ride, that could be coming later on once ETH gets up over 5K. Maybe so that magic carp ride world becomes possible. We saw Richard Hart in his video last year, Christmas video, I think it was 10,000 ETH seemed to be a number that hit him. That's the first time he really put a number to anything. And of course, he also said at the same time that he was working on Pulsechain season. So obviously he's got to work with the market as well. So we're going to see where that all heads in the future. So that is kind of the thesis there. We'll see how it plays out, but certainly looking more positive than we have been. Now, obviously, if they break 7,000, then, the thesis dies, right? The thesis dies with that, and we'll see what happens, whether it's a capitulation week or a move to a lower zone. But certainly, liquidity is very thin on Pulsechain. So that's another potentially resistance to do that scenario. All right, so total volume today, I am glad to say, is looking pretty good, isn't it? Looking pretty good. Magical time. It's not just good, guys. It's magical time. And on the title video, guys, I got Pulsechain looking good. Well, we're at 3.9 million today. That's the biggest volume we've seen for some time, isn't it? 3.9 million. Let's see what is driving that. We're going to do that. Before we do that, let's have a look at the best performance. So Liberty at the moment, been around for over a year. That's up to 32%. Now, remember, I always go through the top 100 trending pairs on Deck Screener. You must do your own financial due diligence. It's not financial advice, right? So I don't always get to check the security or safety. Some of these things are not that interesting to me. Sometimes I will talk about them, but they're really not that interesting. And everyone has different risk return profiles and what they like to do in crypto, right? So just take all that stuff into account. And we're just going through what the results are today, like we do most days, right? Liberty there up 32%. PMint, which is this PDI project, that is up by 22%. So nice little rebound on PMint because that was getting hammered. Remember, last got hammered on quite a few days. Look at 4 days in a row. Had a nice up day yesterday. So essentially bounced off 5.3 cents and now it's 7.5 cents. And that is the old PMint. Remember, PMint is a PDI project. PMint is one rare token that pays you to hold it. Every PMint holder earns PDI from mining for as long as the protocol runs. No staking, no locking, no catch, etc. So once again, the quick intel says that there's a sell tax of 5% and everything else is okay. But once again, you've got to do your own due diligence. And a lot of people on X, there's a certain amount of people on X at least talking about PMint, and it's a PDI project, right? Supports that high volume that PDI delivers. And we've had a few projects launched to support PDI recently, right? No PDI to $1. That's a different thing altogether, right? And we're not, not talking about second layer bridges and everything else, all those other theories out there. We're just talking about projects that are actual in reality in the market, right? Not potentialities, just actualities, right? So we got RH Pepe. That was a recent launch coin over a month ago. That's up 11%. Ethos. So we've got a number of printers, and we're going to talk about that in the monster thread coming up. But Ethos there, we've seen Kairos, Nexion, and particularly Cabal King lead a couple of quality printer tokens. And they're not just printing, crap coins, they're printing Richard Hart cores. So ProveX, Hex, and for those that do like speculative coins, but with large volume, the old PDI, right? The old PDI there. So Ethos at the moment is up 11.6%. Let's have a quick look at this token, and just to refresh, Ethos is doing PDI, so it's another PDI project. It's currently, just under 13 cents right now. Pulse ratio, just under 18,000. So that's the chart there for Ethos. And of course, I think you can stake and lock that. So that's Ethos at the moment. We're going to come back to that later. ZKP from Kairos and Cabal King, I think that's up 10% as well. So the printer's on the move. And of course, they're also benefiting from another project just launched from, I think it was Cabal King. Cabal King. Donny D, actually. Donny D, the Function Island farm and DeFi ecosystem. Donny D launched the Gears, and that had a bit of a coordination with Kairos and a few others. So nice to see the collabs out there, and innovation looks amazing. So we got 0004 right now on the old ZKP on the price. So 0004 or 4,000. Looking at the pulse ratio, we're at just under 57, and that's looking really good. So hats off to Kairos, man. Kairos has been he's just been very good with value delivery. His stuff has been impressive. Emmett Farms, anything he touches tends to do very well. He's a very good tokenomics guy, very good execution, and very good at liquidity management. Very, very impressive stuff there. So congratulations, Kairos. All right, so let's go back out of here. So that's ZKP, and of course ZKP is earning Pruvex, right? So earning Zero's Pruvex there, and it's got there's all reflection taxes, right? So they're all printing that way. Tropa from James Maria up 10%. Let's have a quick look at Tropa there with the DIPE here. This is James Maria, and we can see we're at 4.1 cents there, kind of on the top end, I guess. So kind of in the middle / top end of that range anyway. So that's the old Tropa ticking away. What else we got there? Now, one I've been covering for a little while because I've been really impressed by it. Now, it's very speculative, right? It's high risk, high return. But actually, the volumes have not been too bad. And that's the world's greatest P-Pride print at number 8. It is up 6.8% today, making a bit of a rebound from yesterday. And you can see the chart there. So this is a 4-hourly chart. Let's go to the daily because I kind of keep that real. The daily there, we had a lot of up days. Look at that. Then 2 down days and then an up day. But you can see the volatility. So, the value of your capital is going to move around, obviously, with this chart. Obviously, if you're buying down the low here, maybe 40, 50 cents, you're on the low end. If you're certainly buying over $1 or so, then you're on the upper end based on local prices, right, that have been around for the last couple of months. But certainly the rewards have been impressive. The volume is key, right? Volume is key. And you can see that the volumes are pretty low. So it was pretty low here, doing a couple $1,000 a day, right? A couple $1,000 a day. For quite a few months here, and it's had its ups and downs in the volume. You can see that back in October last year, it was the thing on Pulsechain, right? OG Web Chef stuff was just king of the hill, and we had all the volume coming in. It was just rotated there. The team obviously must have made mad profits doing that too. And here we are back in volume has started to pick back up again. And it's an interesting protocol, right? The rewards Predator. Let's go see how much rewards it's had. And we're going to go to the website for the OG Web Chef printers, and we've got a couple that are really performing right now, and the 2 ones we're looking at, look at this. So world's greatest Predator printer, 12% ROI for the week. Obviously you got the underlying price of the stuff, but essentially you hold it in your wallet and you're earning PDI and 12% capital return in a week, which is essentially close to 2% for the day. Not bad. All right, 7% in 3 days, and if that maintained its case, then you could imagine, within 7 weeks or something, you've doubled your capital return if it holds up with the volumes, right, and the price. So there's a couple of big variables there, but certainly $17,667 paid out in the last 24 hours. It's pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. Now compare that to Gas Money, which is another OG Web Chef here. We can see that's got $1,600 collected. That's doing 2% capital return in a week, a third a day. So quite different. Still decent. But different there. And that's giving you Pulse, I believe. Gas Money is giving you Pulse. And then there's a couple other OG Web ones here, right? Flexmas and Flex Boost and all these. I haven't really checked up on all of these, but you can see the yield returns here. These are all losers on the Flexmas. They're all down negative. But Dominance and Gas Money, they're all up there as well. Now we haven't talked about Dominance for a while, but that's up 7% too, so it's doing pretty well. All right, so you can kind of see that's a key printer as well. So what have we seen move lately? We've seen DEXs with SwitchX, particularly with Liberty Pool. We've seen farms doing pretty well, right? Emmett True Farm. And then we've seen a lot of DeFi projects like printers and a few true trading bots. So it's kind of been the main themes, I think, generally that we've seen. And then some of the older projects have been doing a little bit of stuff too. But that's essentially what we've seen here. And you can see that today with a lot of these printers at the top here. and a couple of PDI projects, right? That's kind of the play. And that's kind of what we're seeing dominate right now. Now, moving to number 9, we've got Bonnie. I think it's kind of a meme car, or Richard's first car, up 60%. Pump Tires at number 10 is up 5.6%. Now, Pump Tires, of course, that I think they've done well over 1 million pulse through the token launches on Pump Tires, has been essentially burned, isn't it? I think that's right. We're sitting at 11/100th of a penny right now on the old Pump Tires. Not doing too much on the price. Let's look at the pulse ratio. It's currently sitting at 155 on the bottom end of the range there. So we'll see. If Pulse gets a move to the upside, we might see a lot more launches on Pump Tires. Pump Tires, and that would increase the volumes as well. But the other thing is we have got obviously Coin Mafia from Racker Michelle. That really hasn't had many coins launched on it. Just 1 or 2 maybe that have done okay. There's another project coming, guys, that's going to be a token launcher, and I think it might do pretty well. I don't want to say too much about it, but I've heard it on the street. When I was kicking it with the homies on the street there, and that could be launching soon too, and it might do quite well. We'll see. See whether that's going to be hooked into some other stuff, I think. So keep a lookout for that. So that's our top 10 today. So up 5.6%, Pump Tires. Let's scroll down a little bit further here. We've got Gizmo up 5.5%, Teddy Bear up 5%, Mafia Coin $2.64 up 4.8%. Coda at number 16 is up 4.5%. Reserve Tay, James Maria 3.7% there. Ethos, another one of these printers. All right, so we've got Ethos Peer up here. We've got another peer down here. What else there? We got World's Greatest Peer Printer, another peer down here as well. Has that moved down? I think it did. Yeah, just slipped down from the top there, but that's moving around. Sparta, which is a hex derivative, supposed to have a hex treasury, but hardly any hex in it. And the volume's pretty dead on it now, so that's pretty much it. I don't know. We're going to be talking about Sparta anymore? I don't know. We talked about it because it had a hex treasury in it, which was kind of interesting. But that's from Wendy's for Tendies, right? Old hex OG guy. Go Pulse up 1.4%. We're going to talk about that in a minute because that shut down on the 31st. But a little bit of commerciality or politics around that. We'll talk about Go Pulse is on the move there at just under 4 cents. What else we got there? Delt Token, one of our top meme coins, up 1.2%. Pretty solid ownership structure, I would suggest to you. If you haven't got too many sellers, then that might do okay. But it doesn't have any business buying, right? It's all market driven by retail. Swarm at number 37, is up 5%. Remember from the 5th of September from OG Web Chef is slightly up today, sitting at 11 zeros, 9,700. Let's have a quick look at that since we looked at the other one. The price is at the bottom there. Pulse ratio, though, let's have a look. Also at the bottom. So that is OG, remember 5th of September. And just as a refresher, what's this giving you? It's giving you a pulse yield in there as well. So that's kind of it at the moment. So that's ticking away. What else? So those that we've got 40 peers that are green, and I think what was Pulse up slightly, it was up like 0.75%. So we've probably got 35, so about a third of the peers are doing better than Pulse in the leaderboard here. So let's look at the ones that are not doing so great today. Let's go right to the bottom here. We've got Switch is gone below 1 cent. OMG. So our V4 DEX, it's down 11% today. Not surprised by that. We will get an inflation adjustment as we got the early weeks, but that is pretty much down 11%, even with locking going up to 95%. The reason why is because you've still got 5% being sold down probably, and you've also from the non-switch peers, and then you've also got 50% locked on the switch peers. So you probably got self-selling as people hedge and take profits. And that's 50% still pretty high. So down 11% there on the old switch. That's what I suggest. Now, where's the price going to be? We kind of seen this with cryptographics, with the Unity and Taurus, right? Where will the price be? Where will it find that bottom? And I don't know. It's the first year's got inflation, the second year's halving, and then there's 6 months after that's 2.5 years, right, to get to 1 billion tokens. There'll be a lot of tokens burned and locked by that time. So what will it where it actually lie? And of course, what will the ongoing business be like? Obviously, I think it's the most sophisticated, it's amazing product, but tokenomics also play a role, right? We know that. So the utility is fantastic. The token value can move around a bit like Ethereum, right? Ethereum's taken off, but the Ethereum price has got to catch up, right? So it's got a lot of issues like that. You just got to be patient with these things sometimes. Where will the price be before it kind of finds a bottom. And I don't think we're there yet, right? Because we're only 18 days into it. And maybe it's 6 months. I don't know. Maybe it's 3 months. Maybe it's 9 months. Somewhere in there, we could find maybe a bottom in the price. And then accumulator, right? You get big players accumulating. We're obviously getting a lot of coins locked as well, so that all defers a lot of those coins coming out in 2 years' time, right? On a rolling day basis. So there's a lot of that sort of stuff going. But the first halvings in 12 months, that's a bullish thing, right? That's a bullish thing because only half the emissions a day coming out. So somewhere maybe in that 3 to 9 months, we could see maybe a floor being held. I know it's a big range, but I don't know. It's going to be somewhere in there, and maybe it's earlier. I don't know, but certainly 3 to 9 months. And it also depends where Pulse is going, right, and the Pulse price too. Amount of capital flow, and then of course competing use cases. But being number 3 DEX, pretty important. So that is a switch checks there. A few comments I just made there. Certainly love the platform. It's very, very cool. I mean, automated liquidity management. It's pretty damn awesome, right? Damn awesome. Top hat there from Crypto Coffee, down 6.8%, tied on the Peacock. We've got Amiga DAO. Now, I talked about the printers at the top here, didn't I? So the printers up the top here, we've got ETH and ZKP. And of course, we talked about that. But we also got down the bottom here a little bit of profit taking on another popular printer, and that's Amiga DAO, and that's down 6.5% today. Let's look at the price of that. It's holding up pretty well. I mean, it's down slightly today, but it's still at 3,000. The pulse ratio, let's look at that. It is definitely down. It's certainly at a crossroads right here at 42.8, but that's still doing pretty well. The volumes, 2,200. Like I say, I think these printers need to at least do 2,000 to 4,000, right, to be a decent little printer. You can sort of just sit there every day earning a bit of fees. 2 to 3. If it drops below 2K, that's getting a bit low, right, on the old yield. But 2 to 4, that's kind of the play. Now, Amiga there, of course, is giving Hex, and there's another Cabal King. I think it's Nexian rather than Gyros doing the technology. But the websites are amazing, right? All these printers. There's lifted the game, right? So Amiga, what else are we talking about here? Amiga, Ethos, ZKP, really great platforms there, and of course they're reflection tokens. So they're in a certain risk return zone, but they're doing pretty well, most of them. So kind of keep an eye out on that. And they also kind of interlocked at each other as well with some of the buy and bends. Let's go down. We've got a few more to look at here. Let's see what else. We've got a lot of the Peacock stuff down here, right? Zen, Zero, these are all part of the quadfecta. Tied into the Peacock, they're down about 5% today. 9mm, our second biggest DEX, is at 1 cent. That is down 5% today. And that's done already sort of on the move. It's slowly creeping up, right? Already front running the maybe any Pulsechain uptrend. We've got Provex, as we talked about already. Then we've got Peacock sitting at 93 hundredths of a penny. So it's dropped below that 1 penny, just sitting at 93 hundredths of a penny. What's the ratio? Ratio at the moment 1,300, so still okay. Certainly, I wouldn't, you wouldn't want to see it go below 1,300, given it's our blue chip, right? It's our most dynamic blue chip project. And then we've got Zero Trust in here, part of the quadfecta as well, down 4%. So Peacock there, just a bit unloved at the moment. We're still waiting for a lot of the rollouts from Liberty Swap, which have seemed to be delayed, but they've got tons of them, right? So just the workload seems to be huge. We'll keep a look out for that. Vouch, a number one liquid validator. It is kind of like Rocket Pool or Lido, and we've got two main ones, right? We've got Vouch, and then we've also got Valid X from PlusX. That is down 2.6% today. So let's have a quick look at that one, and that's ticking away at 9,300. The pulse ratio is sitting at 1.31. It's kind of in the middle, isn't it? On the low side, but sort of in the middle, ticking away there on the weekly candles. The weekly candles there. All right, so that is pretty much it. Let's jump over to Liberty Swap. How are we doing? 1 hour and 28 minutes. You guys didn't tell me. We'd talking this long, but we're going to keep going because we've got at least another 15 minutes to go. So some of the big news about Liberty Swap is GoPulse, right? Because GoPulse shut down. Then they put this funny auction on the website. I guess not funny really, just to hand over the website. But lo and behold, it looks like it's going to. That's all being killed off now. Maybe no one participated in it. I guess maybe no one burned any GoPulse. That would be the only reason. Otherwise, it should go to the best bidder. And then maybe the best bidder was Liberty Swap. I don't know. But now Liberty Swap is getting the site. So continue the GoPulse domain auction to whoever burns the most Go, or gift it to Liberty Swap, so they hopefully provide value in perpetuity. Well, obviously, I voted to Liberty there to get that. Makes sense. But of course, B-Roots, I think was B-Roots or Ian Heinisch, one of the guys talking about GoPulse being Liberty Swap. This certainly adds to the argument, right? Because suddenly here is getting all the mix on here with the old Liberty Swap. So in any case, this is pretty telling, and it looks like they're going to get the website now. So that's pretty much it. So here it is. So it's a bit like how Liberty Swap talks to the ZKX wallet because they're almost talking to themselves, right? And so we got GoPulse has agreed to transfer ownership of the domain to our team for management. Well, is that a surprise or what? I don't know. We'll use the domain to provide free public infrastructure for Pulsechain onboarding, including APIs, SDKs, a block explorer, RPC tools, portfolio tracking, and a simple cross-chain swap front end. So obviously GoPulse has got a great name, and it's also probably fairly well ranked on Google and stuff. The goal is to support ecosystem growth and keep the domain in responsible hands. Scope of transfer domain only, no code base included. In other words, none of the swapping or information stuff that they have on there. Existing brand recognition with the Pulsechain ecosystem. Our commitment, Liberty Swap, we will deploy a single cross-chain swap front end on the domain powered by Liberty Swap API with 0.1% front end fee per swap. Fee proceeds direct to GoBoBax. Now, I kind of question that. Obviously, we don't like projects to die, unlike GoPulse, but it's kind of a little bit weird to me. Shouldn't this be Peacock? I don't know. You let me know what you think. Yeah, I guess it's kind of honorable to the GoPulse value. But yeah, it's kind of a little bit weird too. Liberty Swap team holds 0% of GoPulse tokens, so that's kind of nice disclosure and has no responsibility of the future performance or direction of the token. Full on-chain, transparent, and verifiable flow. This arrangement applies only to activity on the specific front end and is not connected to any Liberty Swap products or services. So I guess that's a fair balance. Maybe it's a fair swap there as well. But other than swapping between themselves, that's a question you can raise. It certainly increases that argument, right? So why go to, that's what I was going to write, but maybe we'll delete that. We'll delete that. Anyways, we got up only from Sean in the house there. Let's go. Yes, positive news. Very good deal. Is it a deal? Now I had a picture here on another one. I should probably go to see that, but yeah. So Thailand says, I don't understand why you want to own GoPulse. Are you going to integrate, say, the suite feature? It's a strong domain for a community-driven. I agree that it is strong. Open source resource hub. Yep. Every time the major project on Pulsechain fades or goes offline, new ones emerge trying to rebuild the same tools from scratch. Obviously, we have some alternatives. We have Pulsechain Stats, Pulse Coin List, but GoPulse was definitely, from an informational point of view, was quite good. There was a lot of controversy over some of the fees and some of the whales losing a lot of value to GoPulse swapping site, and that was caused a lot of problems. If we turn the GoPulse domain into an open shared infrastructure and knowledge base, it could become a real long-term asset. So I think that's a fair play, even if it's they're talking to themselves. Maybe that's the case. So yeah, that is pretty much. I think that's kind of it on there. So that was kind of the main thing for Liberty Swap. We're still waiting for a lot of their product rollouts. Liberty Land, the rest of it. So we'll have to just stay tuned and be patient for that. Which leads us into the monster thread. Boy, what a show it is today! An hour and 33 minutes. And we've got our audience is growing, so that's good. There's more people reading. So don't forget, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you're on X, don't forget to smash the follow button. And most importantly, hit the repost button every single day. If you love awesome Pulsechain coverage, comprehensive, as well as covering stock market, economic news, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And of course, yeah, we're going to throw a little bit of X1 and a few other things in the coverage as well. Then definitely give us a follow and hit the repost. If you want to get more, if you want to go to the next level, you can always join JD Club. Links in the video description for that as well. Pulsechain Weekly Monster Thread number 56. So big shout out to MVS Crypto, the editor-in-chief of the Monster Thread. And of course, this is an official publication of the Kryptonite Show. 56 weeks, guys, of the hottest Pulsechain weekly news. It is fantastic for onboarding, and it's fantastic if you've had a busy week and you want to get a comprehensive coverage of what's happening with Pulsechain every week. So 56 weeks, guys, it's been around, and it's doing a great contribution for the community. So I'm going to post that in the number 56. I'm going to post that in the chat. So definitely hit that up. And of course, if you're on X, you can just hit my profile and you'll find all the Monster Thread posts. But that is the link right there. Bam, bam, bam. All right, don't give Crypto MVS a follow, and of course follow me too. That's pretty much it. All right, so that's king. Let's get into the news. So Richard's message: crypto banter invitation, Liberty perpetuals, and monster moves. Check out Emmett and True Farm for the best farming options. Big shout out to them. Richard's message. This is our top story here today. We always leave with the Richard Hart story because he's the founder of Pulsechain and the visionary leader. And of course, we've got Richard Hart shared Happy Memorial Day, remembering those who gave their lives to protect your rights and your freedom. They died so that you might thrive, honor their sacrifice, but continue to fight for the same rights and freedoms they did. So that's from Richard there. Let's have a quick look at that. That is his post there. So pretty cool. From the old Richard. Number 2, we had onboarding another one. Now, I love this story because it's just all about, the community getting out and onboarding. Well, a wireless J, of course, is being a huge, what they call positivity princess, but she's been doing much more than that these days. Ask the community opinion. If you could chunk in $2,000 into Richard Hart coins, how much would you allocate to which ones? And I think that's kind of a cool question these days. And she's had lots of replies on that. She says, I was thinking 25% Hex, 25% EHEX, 25% Pulse, and 10% PulseX, and split the rest between Inc and ProveX. So there we go. That's solely based on her feels. But then we got lots of others in there. Crypto Coffee says Hex, PulseX, and ProveX 33% each. That's not a bad way of looking at it. Crypto 7 says, I think I'd suggest they allocate more into one showing most evidence it might have bottomed, which is Pulse. Then that is the easiest sell or less hard to sell. I point to some else that have 2x in the last 10 days and say Pulse might be next. So that's from C7. What else there? Let's see. We got X Soul says 50% X and 50% Pulsex. So let me know in the chat what you guys think about that. You can just give me a percentage or whatever you think is the preferred one there. Shul says Fools. Yeah, says 25% PDI, 25% PulseX, 25% Pulse, 10% ProveX, 10% PHEX, 3.5% EHEX, and 2.5% PWrap Bitcoin. So there we go. And that fits pretty well into what we saw as the bigger volume coins as well. Hextronaut says 50% Hex, 25% Hex, and 25% Hex. So I don't know. Is that all 100% PHEX or 100% EHEX? I don't know. You decide. Probably PHEX. Cabana Crypto does a great show. Fresh Funds, Hex, and ProveX is the way to go. So he says. So there we go. What else? We've got a few others in here as well. So yeah, great list of people putting their ideas in there. You can go read through all those. That is Wireless J. Not bad, not bad. Onboard, tell your friends. Onboard the Pulsechain. It's super low price. Maybe we're at the bottom, and maybe it's the perfect time to shill. Shill. Did I say shill? It's been a long time since I said the word shill. Spread the word. Spread the word. Burn it all. Burn it all down, says Captain RG3. Got together with Triple Dad. These are all the OGs and Crispy Man as well for a chat about Pulsechain while smoking cigars. You got to like that. So I think we've got some pictures of them smoking cigars of the video. Let's see.
It's the no
I think we've got cigars here somewhere.
No.
Where's cigars, guys?
Some
I
of
think
the
there are
stuff
cigars here somewhere.
is
There are a couple of cigars.
this is an everyday banger right here.
That is from them. Crypto Banter. Now, Crypto Banter, of course, from Crypto Banter or Crypto Moran. He's got 1 million followers, guys. So we're getting some attention in the bear market here on Pulsechain at the bottom, arguably. And this is really good. So we got some pretty cool influencers circling the old Pulsechain there. 1 million followers. And he reaches out once again for an interview with Richard Hart. Obviously, Richard Hart has got Interpol and he's got those issues. So he's just trying to deal with that. I think he's got rid of Europol. He's beat the SEC. So it's really down to the last one to get rid of. And I'm sure he'll be back, Richard Hart there, probably for his last phase is my argument. I think he'll do one more last phase for live streaming when he comes back. And, of course, reaches out once again for an interview with Richard Hart. And so we'll see what happens there. But that is from him. He's had almost 60,000 views on that alone. Just shows you how big of a follow influencer he is there with Ran and his commentary. Now, Liberty Swap, massive teasers. Your friend Sonia, of course, one of the largest Pulsechain influencers, got 43,000 followers on X. And, of course, he's constantly posting about crypto and Pulsechain. He's got reviewed Liberty Swap financial updates, and he's talking about Liberty Perpetuals, Liberty Land, and Fiat On-Ramp Cash App on the way. So, we know Liberty Swap's going to be huge. and saw me there talking about that. So I thought that was pretty cool, and lots of PDI hints, of course, hoping that they'll support PDI to $1 in some way. They already support it through the liquidity provisions, through Liberty Swap, Liberty Dex, but we'll keep a lookout whether they've got any more support. We know Liberty Swap has been talking about a decentralized stablecoin. I don't know whether PDI is going to be the one they're going to try and support for that. Obviously, their official token is Peacock, and that's kind of where they should be sitting there. Now, that said, of course, we saw that PDI is getting a lot of project support from DeFi projects, particularly printers, and also, typically in our top 4 volume and typically number 2 volume. So recently, at least. So it's certainly something to look out for there. All right, so that's kind of the play there. So a big shout out to Somi there. Best earning opportunities. Neil Fatishia from True DeFi went live with Executioner and special guest Don Function. Now, Don's just launched his latest project, and very, very clever dev there, launching Gears, and of course from Pulse Machinery, right? So that is Pulse Machinery / Gears that is launched. We haven't looked at that today. I didn't see it on the list, but we'll try and follow up on that. Showcasing new DeFi opportunities on Pulsechain, discussing market analysis by Reinvent the Ideal. So they've done some. If you want to find out market analysis on Pulsechain and DeFi opportunities, definitely these X spaces are amazing. And you can hit the broadcast there. So I think the broadcast. Yeah, there we go. So that is Neil Patici is there, along with Execution and Donny D, looking through a Pulse Machinery there. Pretty awesome. So definitely check that out if you want to chase down some of the latest DeFi. So that's kind of cool. Now, what I was going to say about that is that Neil and Daniel have been leading True DeFi, and they've kind of brought to Pulsechain the managed funds approach, so kind of like quasi-institutional money management, which is kind of cool. I've been wanting to see that on Pulsechain for a long time, and these guys have taken the lead on that. They have the SRE fund, right, from the 2x miners, and they have obviously have the auction process there, and of course 10% goes into the RSE. They have ended up investing in some of the top farms, obviously True Farm, their own farm that they launched, as well as Emmett Farm, taking up single-side staking positions, earning high yield, typically 80 to 120% or more APRs, and earning EDI, right? And that EDI, they're being pushed back in to their 2x miners. So big shout out to Neil and Daniel. It really is a cool area of Pulsechain that we need, at least one, if not more, teams doing that. At least we've got one, and it's going to be really interesting to watch the evolution. I think they've been around 4 months now or so. So exciting stuff happening there. Hopefully we'll get them on for another interview and talk about some of those features, because I really like the mechanisms, and certainly it's good having that category of DeFi on Pulsechain with managed funds, right? Trying to get your 2x in your Pulse. That's kind of the idea. Liquid migration tool. This is something else that's going to be pretty awesome, right? So obviously Brandon there, a big Pulsechain influencer, a Titanx influencer, but really gone into big time into a development team that launches projects for other people. Obviously, he's gone and launched SwitchX, which has become one of our top DEX aggregators. And of course, he's launched SwitchX there, the really big V4, and of course, the best in breed of the 3VE. So really looking good there. It will take time to shake out in the market, and build up. So just be patient with SwitchX, but SwitchX Fi, I should say. And those two are now integrated together, right? So SwitchX will always route through all the DEXs, including SwitchX Fi. And SwitchX Fi, if you're doing swaps on there, if it doesn't have the tokens in the LP pools, we'll use SwitchX to access other LP pools to be able to swap your tokens. So it's kind of cool like that. But what's coming up, guys? I'm not aware we've got anything like this. I kind of felt like we had one project that did something like this, but I think this might be the first that I really think's out there, certainly out of the major DEXs, and that is an LP migration tool shipping soon, which means that you'll be able to migrate LPs out of PulseX or 9mm, things like that, into SwitchX Fi. So I think that's pretty exciting. Very cool. Right, so that's from Brandon, and so keep a lookout for that. So yeah, order to tech, find your LP across Pulsechain DEXs, including a wallet LP and farm staked LP, all in one. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So presumably it's going to impact the farms as well that we talk about, and talked about there, like Emmett and others. We'll see what happens there. Then migrate into matching SwitchX pairs with flexible auctions. So it has to be matching, of course, pairs. So that's key. ALM. This is the key. This is really the heart of SwitchX Fi, right? It's the ALM, the automatic liquidity management, it allows you to have sophisticated, concentrated liquidity. In other words, really around that price, keeping your LP position around that price, so you're earning the most fees, and of course max fee in a V3/V4, 1%, right? So it can be quite lucrative, and that's why we've seen some pretty interesting numbers there. Manual position, custom range, full range auto farm, built with safety in mind, and that's a cool thing, and it's a really nice site. So like I say, price is going to move around a bit, but the actual utility has been impressive, I think, and we'll watch that play out. It's still early days, 18 days in, so you guys know how things work. All right, so Hex T-Share report from Crispy Man. That was pretty cool. So that came out there, always up every week. He's doing the deep dive, so you want to get to the quants. We've got two main quants covering Hex, Crispy Man with his Hex T-Share reports and all his data sites. And then we also have Ben Sierra, who does the monthly, quarterly deep dives into Hex as well. So between those two, you're getting a fine coverage of Hex. Crypto Queen shout out. So I said to you, we got Crypto Ran up here, and we got Crypto Banter with Ran with 1 million followers, but we've also got another big influencer circling the old Pulsechain, and that is a Jaina Green Crypto Queen. She's got 211,000 followers, guys. So fantastic. Looks like she's Australian. Sends a big thank you to the Pulsechain community for introducing her to one of the loudest and hardest working communities in crypto. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, we might be trying to find the bottom in the old Pulse, but we have got big influencers kind of circling the Pulsechain. So it's kind of cool. And I think since last year, what have we seen? At least maybe 6 to 9 large influencers interacting with Pulsechain. And of course, if Pulsechain starts taking off, I'm sure they'll all be back to talk about it, right? So, they may be quiet in the meantime, but we've got a lot of Pulsechain OG influencers that disappeared while the price is down for various reasons. And I'm sure, we'll get a decent amount of those back as well when the Pulsechain starts bumping, right? Everyone likes up charts. Everyone likes up charts there. So that's kind of that from Jana. So pretty cool. She says, I truly, from all my heart, appreciate this message. I agree with everything you said there. This industry is maturing, and all the hard lessons we're all experiencing is just part of that. In the end, people like yourself make creators like me and Annabelle to believe in the space. Thank you, and thank you, Pulsechain community, because even having a crazy introduction, I see many people from there that keep doing their work, showing up and being active and painting the space forward. So nice comments, Jana, is it? Jana, yeah. All right, bam. Right, so that is kind of cool. That is so we got big influencers circling there. El Salvador TV show. We're getting a lot more variety on Pulsechain too. So Noob Central published episode 3 of the Noob Decentral 2026 El Salvador series. That was a show that was on a bit earlier this year, and they've just sort of turned it into production videos. La Libertad ATM. The 3rd episode is out for Noob Decentral, and playing a big role, I think, on Pulsechain in terms of community excitement, along with the Wildest Day and others that are in there. The Woogie Gang, a comedian, is in there too. Josh Wu. So not bad. So you can check that out as well. Very cool. They got some money prizes too. Now GoPulse shutting down the course, but we do have alternatives: Pulsechain Stats, PLS Follow, Pulsechain CoinList, and there's a whole ton of others on PLS Start. So if you go to PLS Start, you will see a lot of those there. Let me just pop up that in a minute, just to show you that on PLS Start they've got quite a few chart trackers, right? So they've got all these ones: PLS Folio, Pulsechain Stats. There's lots of ones in here, right? So you can check that out too. In fact, I might post that in the chat there if you want to check that out. So Pulsechain ecosystem map, and that gives you a lot of the projects there from Frank White. So I wasn't planning on that, but there we go. Bam, there it is. Check that out. All right. So we also got community. Now we also saw that Liberty Swap's going to take that site basically and keep that going. Community discovery thread. Now this was really cool. So official ramp now, of course, is one of our big on ramps to Pulsechain. They have fiat gateways to Pulsechain too, so you can go, jump aboard with fiat. Now they had a cool thread, of course, about project teams. I'm just trying to find it here. They had a big. Where's it gone? Is it this one here? I can't see it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Yeah, I think it's this one here somewhere. Yeah. So, hey, Pulsechain builders, let's build a Pulsechain discovery thread. In other words, all the teams get on there and put their projects. They start off with their own official ramp now, and then they've got all the other teams have jumped in, including Frank White's ecosystem, right? The PLS Start which they discovered as well. They didn't know about that, but they discovered that, and so on. And we've got all these other projects coming on there, right? So they're all posted underneath there. Very, very cool. So you can see Vouch and many other teams, desktops, all in that thread, which is pretty cool. All right, so that's pretty neat from Wrap now. Now we also got What the Hex. DJ Cryptomatic dropped another What the Hex episode with special guest Alex McFurter. Now, Alex McFurter, of course, is the founder of Hedron Icosa and HSI Stakes, and of course, he's coming along with Signum protocol, which I think's around sort of a bond, isn't it? I think it's a bond system for HSIs, and also Cappy bond/yield, and then Cappy Wallet's coming up as a advanced customized Pulsechain version of Rabby Wallet. All right, so it's called Cabby Wallet. So that is a really cool interview. So if you want to catch up on the latest greatest there, that is with DJ Cryptomatic. Well, that would have been a great show. All right, very cool. All right, so we also got Pulsechain hardware wallet. Now this is huge too. Keystone Wallet for 63,000 followers. Released a hardware wallet with Pulsechain branding. Now this is about to close down. So they got that branding there. You can see there with the hard wallet. But I just wanted to showcase they're actually, I think there's only less than a day to go, right? Yes, 11 hours ago they said final hours Pulsechain family. Last chance to secure a Pulsechain branded Keystone 3 Pro for just $149 using the code Liberty. Otherwise, it's $199, right? After 24 hours, it's gone. So it's 11 hours ago. So presumably that means that it's 13 hours to go before that runs out. And if you use the Liberty there, that is the hardware wallet, and it's got the cool Pulsechain branding, Liberty Swap logo there. Help make it happen, right? So that is pretty cool. So you can find that in the Monster thread. So remember, the Monster thread is bam there if you want to find the links. Let's keep going though. What a mega time we're having. We're going to have a great stream. Is this a 2-hour stream? It is. We've got 9 minutes to go, I'm sure. We're going to definitely finish at 2 hours. We finished 2 hours there. All right. So let's jump back here. So that's the Pulsechain hardware, 63,000. Now remember, every time we get a new wallet like this, there's a new audience of 63,000. We're always going to get more people hearing about Pulsechain. See what I mean? So it's kind of cool. So we've got Keystone with 63,000 people hearing about Pulsechain. We've got January Crypto with 212 followers talking about Pulsechain. We've got Crypto Moran with 1 million followers talking about Richard Hart and Pulsechain, and essentially that's 60,000 views. So you see what I mean? That's a really cool wider attention. So Pulsechain might be finding the bottom in the Pulse price, but actually awareness is increasing, right? Pulsechain awareness is increasing, and we get green charts. Some of the people go, "Hey, I remember that chain. I remember what's the name talking about it. Let me check that out," because money's being made, right? The old gang. Green candles. Trench Capital, Money Gain Crypto, and Alpha hosted Trench Capital episode 3 discussing Pulsechain and BNB. So we've had a few X Spaces on, right? So you can, actually, there's a live show with Money Gain Crypto, so you can go watch that. I think we got a little bit of so you can check that out. So talking about Pulsechain and PDI and everything else. We've got Zero Trust, obviously part of the quadfecta with Liberty Swap. They held a massive X Space covering Zero Trust ecosystem updates. Remember, they've got, I think, something like 10 projects, including news that they do around Pulsechain, covering Clarity Act and stuff like that. So that X Space is there. You can go ahead and hear that. 5,000 views on that. So pretty awesome. Clicking on that one. So that's doing pretty well. Big gain signs. So one of our Pulsechain influencers in the UK is Crypto C7. I think he's possibly arguably the biggest one. And he went live for a stream highlighting big gain signs for Hex and Pulsechain. So you can check out C7's content covering Pulsechain. Done a few videos lately. And then we got the Validated Graffiti leaderboard. This is for the validated geeks out there. Dave Feder, who has supplied something like 70% of the hardware for validators. And we've got 49,000 validators. He's provided around about 70% of the hardware, apparently, which is pretty awesome. And he does it full time, which is awesome. So Dave Feder, great guy, of course. And of course, a legendary Hex OG. Released a new Pulsechain graffiti board, leaderboard. It displays the most frequent graffiti messages being written by validators directly on the beacon chain using real data. So that's for the geeks out there. You know what the Bitcoin guys are like with Satoshis and Sats and things. Well, we've got our own little geek thing going on here. Here's the new Pulsechain graffiti leaderboard. Look at it. And he built this with AI, of course. Pulsechain graffiti leaderboard. You can see the slots on the window, slots data, graffiti, unique graffiti there, and it's got all the, the validators there and the counts. You can see validator store number 1. You got Vouch Run, you got Rack and Rochelle, Matt as well. So you got lots of cool things going on there with that. So respect out there. respect the graffiti. I gotta take the graffiti there. Respect the graffiti on the beacon. I don't know. It's just a bit of fun, really. But is that beacon? Did I spell it right? Beacon. Yeah, that's good. I was thinking it was bacon. Bacon there. All right, so that is kind of cool. We also got meeting the Rhino, Fat Sammy. Now, Fat Sammy's been doing a great job, right? Pulsechain influencer, part of the Pulse Bitcoin Council, and he went live with DeFi Nation. Ben, of course, doing a lot of great stuff behind the scenes, supporting a lot of projects with their DeFi and success. And special guest Derek from RhinoFi. I'm very favored to their treasury model, the 28-day recharge, and of course RhinoFi and the broader crypto market. So that was a great stream, and a big shout out to Fat Sammy. I said to Fat Sammy, you're such a good streamer. You get out there, do the stuff, and he's doing the stuff right, and it's really good. So he's got his style, and he's very knowledgeable. And he not only does he get into Pulse Bitcoin, but he breaks down Pulse charts, Hex charts. So if you love your TA, definitely worth getting into that as well. So big shout out, big shout out to Fat Sammy there. Big shout out to Fat Sammy and his epic Pulsechain coverage. Smash follows, right? Smash the follows. We're going to fix up some spelling there, but that is pretty much it. All right, that is cool from Fat Sammy. So check him out and give him a follow. So that was all the news today. So pretty awesome stuff happening on Pulsechain, but we've also got some honorable mentions, right? So let's get through those. I'm going to check the time here. Oh, I've got 4 minutes. So let's see how we go. Hype with Dog. So Hit Anime Series is out there. They had a Rise and Shine Baby Dolls in response to Somni's price commentary. That's pretty cool. The link was there, but I think it's disappeared. We've got Vanilla Nicholas. Also out there, shouts out to Pulsechain Store while showcasing ZKP Ethos and Mega merchandise and some of those printers. So look at that. So you can sort of see the cool image there. That's pretty good. And what else we got there? We got Execute holding another X Space, Pulse X Fun. What's the next big narrative? With Pump Tires, and that was from there. They had some. Oh, it's live now actually. So that's live while we're talking. So that's kind of cool. Matty Allen, the real Afro man, Ogre Froman, he's got 101,000 followers. So potentially we've got another big influencer that may get into collaboration there around Pulsechain. So keep a lookout for that. That's from Matty Allen. So big shout out there with the old Afro man. So keep a look out there. And finally, 7R Crypto has been doing a lot with Hex. His Hex stake, he's got a Hex stake analyzer update. So if you do want to, get a platform that does help you with the Hex analyzers, then you can get that, and it's got a really nice front end. Look at that. So covers your daily yield, active D shares. So if you're after something like that, I know a lot of people always inquire around Hex, so that is an option that you have for analyzing your Hex stakes. Woohoo! So Crypto, big shout out. What's that? Epic DApp for Hex. Monitoring. That's not monitoring. All right. I've got to spell epic too. What's happening with my typing here on live stream? It's raining here. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it started raining quite heavy. So that's pretty much it. So those are the honorable mentions. And then we also, where are we up to? Yeah, honorable mentions. We also got an expansion of the master thread this week with popular DeFi projects. So this has been expanded. Typically before that, we had a table of contents. Now we have a full coverage here of some of the popular DeFis. So at the top, you can see Switch, obviously from Brandon. This is one of our biggest DEX aggregators now. Get your limit orders set with Switch and find out about SwitchX. That's on page 2. So this is a monster thread, page 2. We've also got True DeFi, of course. We talked about that with managed funds approach, revenue distribution service for projects and individuals. And this is a chance to grow your PLS bags with True 2X. That's on page 3. And then we've got Emmett Farm, of course, highest APR, biggest number of pools. Get involved with the largest farm on Pulsechain and start staking today. 14 months of EDI rewards and single-side staking and high APRs in the non-single-side staking pools. Pretty amazing stuff, right? I mean, really, Kairos is amazing. And then, of course, we've got the usual Kryptonite Show post. As of course, the crypto, Monster Thread's official publication of the Kryptonite Show, and we always have the Kryptonite Show post. And this week, got a list of printers ZKP, Omega, Ethos, and of course we've got one of the latest sniper bots. Obviously, sniper bots have been a bit more trendy these days, and Pulsera is the latest one out there, sniper bot there, and that's on page 5. So some pretty good stuff. Now, some of the images that we have, of course, is the hardware wallet there that you can buy. We've got the Pulsechain show in South America there, and a couple of guys there having a bit of fun. A lot of comedians in that group, right? A lot of comedians. I think Wildest J must have had a bit of fun there with all those comedian guys. They're pretty crazy. We got the Pulsechain printed t-shirts there for Zero Knowledge Printer from Kairos. And then, of course, the OG guys there with the cigars, the stogies, as we say, enjoying it in the live stream parlor there. Not bad. So pretty awesome stuff. Obviously, in the monster, we got the project teams. We got Switch, of course. So check that out. Switch don't swap. Switch.win there. And obviously, it's the DEX aggregator, and then Switch.fi there, the V4 liquidity. Pretty awesome stuff there. And interestingly enough, Jolt has just incorporated Switch index aggregation. So they're getting a lot of third-party support there. We see a lot of new projects integrating Switch. And of course, Shaw Gates did an epic review video as well. You can check that video down the bottom there. Switch is pretty easy to use as well. It does base chain, Ethereum chain, as well as Pulsechain. Pretty awesome stuff. And now routing through a lot of other DEXs there as well. So that's pretty cool. Let's go to the other ones that we're going to quickly look at as well. So let me just scroll back up here. So we've got the Switch. We've also got True DeFi. So you can check out the True DeFi post there on my profile with the 2x RX miner service. They've paid out tons of Pulse. I mean, 9 billion Pulse dividends a week. Pretty amazing stuff there. 1 billion Pulse externally generated through their fund management. That's, like I say, it's a new approach on Pulsechain. Good to see it. They got 55,000 active miners, which is an amazing number. And 456 billion Pulse. So I don't know whether Neil or Daniel watching, but hey, look, it's time to get you guys back on. I really love their approach, their managed fund approach on Pulsechain. It's definitely, we need at least one player doing that sort of stuff. And so it's kind of cool. The flywheel, significant external yield, no platform token, no risk. 1x system miners, partner miners as well. Now, there's also a bit of game theory, right? The day of the auction, you get a good auction day. It helps you get to your 2x yield and Pulse quicker, right? That's the whole idea. And they got a video down the bottom here just highlighting some of that development. So a big shout out to them, doing a pretty good job. So that's it. This is all on my profile, so you can check out all these links. These are all in the monster thread. So that's True DeFi. We also got Emmet Farm, of course, from Kairos. Just absolute high APRs, guys. Single side staking. Now, I love this thing about farming strategy here. So buy Emmet, 50% Emmet. And Pulse LP and 50% single side staking. So a nice little split strategy there, earning high APR. So you earn EDI with the single side, and you can earn Emmet with the Emmet Pulse peer there as well. And Emmet has been working like a boss, right? So it's been doing very well. 14 months of absolute amazing stuff there. Easily our number one farm. I would say followed closely by True Farm, along with other farms that we've got out there, like Functional Iron, Vox, and who's the other one there that I'm thinking of? Vox, Emmet Farm, Functional Island, and Nexion, of course, which is a wider DeFi system. So kind of cool. So I think that's kind of cool. And then finally, in the monster thread, we've got the, you can see there on the thing, we got the Zero Knowledge Printer. So we've got a couple of printers there that I've picked out there. ZKP, of course, earning ProveX. So things I like about this is that though they're a reflection token, they have different staking and locking depending on the protocol. Zero Knowledge Printers from Kairos, from Emmet Farms, and you are earning ProveX. So it's kind of a bit of a hedge, like earning the Richard Cause, and they have the better volumes, as we pointed out, right? They're having over 100K volume, so really good liquidity from that point of view. Zero Knowledge Printer is the place to go for that, so check that out if you want to earn ProveX. And of course, if ProveX gets on a reversal, then up and away for the old ZKP, right? Also pretty well managed fund-wise by Kairos, right? Very, very cool there. Number 2 is a MegaDAO, and of course, we're talking about, getting to Moon King and, the Cabal King. And we've got Stake Omega, earn Hex, right? So there's another one, you're earning another Hex, Richard Art Hex. So kind of like a hedge there if you're bullish around Richard Art Cause. And they also have locking, right? So they don't just have staking, but locking as well. So that's in their place with the MegaDAO. And then, of course, Ethos as well, single side stake for Ethos. You earn PDI. So if you're in the PDI, you like PDI. We obviously see other projects like OG Webshare PDI printer there MPDI and print to $1, obviously there as well. Now that's on Ethos Farming as well, so you can check that out too. And I think they have staking and locking on those. So those are the three big printers, and they've been some of the hottest projects recently in the DeFi space on Pulsechain. Then we're also obviously seen one or two trading bots happen. We've got Pulsera is one of the latest ones there. I think Zero also does a trading bot. We've got a couple, and you can find a lot of those on PLS Start Me, I think, which we talk about there on the Echo map. You'll see other Telegram bots as well. Now this one is particularly interesting because it does sniper bots. So burn sniper instantly, auto buy. So it's got a lot of features like that. If you want to front run a lot of pump tire volumes and things like that, could be something for you. Checks they've got a Pulsera bot which has a lot of features. So you can check the king of the hill on pump tires, top bonding, live activity, full token cards with holders, liquidity, dev wallet, market cap, and one tap chart. So lots of features there to give you the edge, and that's in their house as well. Also, if you want to sell, they've got really quick selling technology, including honeypot protection and stuff like that. So lots of cool features. That is the link there. If you want to join up on Telegram bot, you can issue your own wallet. Only keep on there on the wallet what you're willing to trade at the time. As soon as you finish, move it over to another wallet. Just good general DeFi management. But other than that, it works perfectly fine. Socials there, Pulschain group as well. If you want to join the general socials there to learn more about upgrades. So it's pretty cool. So 4 big printers and a Telegram trading bot there to give the edge. That is pretty much it for the monster thread this week, man. So some exciting stuff. Now there've been a number of changes this week in the monster thread, particularly around DeFi projects. So if you're a project out there, you want to get on that, hit up MVS or myself. And of course, you'll get promotion there. The Monster Thread is a professional publication, and it's been around for 56 weeks, and it's planning on being around for a long time to come. So it's exciting. It plays the key role as the main newsletter, dynamic newsletter on Pulsechain. Gets typically between 35 and 50,000 views for each post. So this isn't a bear market, guys. Can you imagine a bull market? It's going to be exciting times. Now, the other big thing, of course, is we will continue to do some modifications in the future. We obviously have to do a lot of different things to make sure it gets the best result over time. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to be pretty fun. All right. Exciting times. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That is pretty much it. I'm going to post a link to that underneath the show. So let's do that while we're here, while we're at it. For those that are watching on X, you can check it out too. So I guess we'll read and share. Monster thread number 56 with obviously so the hottest news, the hottest honorable mentions, and the hottest projects on Pulsechain. Very, very, very cool. All right, that is it there. Bam. Keep emitting, Superman, the Pulsechain hero, says the Emmett there. Yeah, big shout out. Compared to the other chains, we may be down, but our community and DeFi tools are miles above others. Absolutely. Yeah. So there we go. So big shout out to those teams. Keep up the great work. As I say, that is trending. So yeah, the Monster Thread allows you to keep up with all the latest news, the hottest projects, and of course, what the cool things that the people in the community are doing, right? It's really, really cool. Now, if you do have any great news that you think is going to happen in the week ahead or something, and you want to get into Monster Thread, hit MVS up or hit myself up. We keep the Monster Thread neutral in terms of news. So if you've got a good story, it will make it in there, right? So it's exciting times. I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so we're up to an epic live stream. What about 2 hours and 7 minutes? I was only planning on 60 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And here we are 2 hours and 7 minutes later. That's crazy, guys. That is Pulsechain, man. Pulsechain is on fire. Are we at the bottom? We're fighting at 7,000. Week 11, guys. This feels very, very good. Let's see. No more black swans, and I think we've got a good chance of rolling up with the rest of the market later into June and takeoff time July. Looking good for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Will Pulsechain join it as well? Liquidity is relatively modest. That's maybe support an upward trend as well. And once we break that 1,200 mark and lose a zero, get to 1,700, I think it's really game on. That uptrend starts. And the same psychology of on the way on the downtrend over 3 years, that also reverses and we get the FOMO psychology up on the uptrend. So that's what we're hunting right now. We're in the hunt. We're in the hunt for that. All right. At some stage, we find the bottom. Pulsechain is never as cheap as the bottom. And so if we are at the bottom right now, Pulsechain is is where you get the most volume. And as soon as we go up 50%, you get way less pulse. That's the logic, right? So we'll keep a lookout for that, guys. Not financial advice, do your due diligence, but man, I'm optimistic about where we are in the timing of the market and where Pulsechain is fighting the battle for 11 weeks now. All right, I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's catch you guys again tomorrow, right? All right, onwards and upwards, and a big shout out to those teams, Emmett Farm, True DeFi, Switch. You guys are contributing massive to farming and DeFi. It's been really cool. And of course, utility dexes as well. Pretty exciting stuff. Automated market liquidity. I mean, honestly, guys, we're on the move. Looking forward to Liberty Swap 2 with their DeFi expansions, and then Vault 369 coming. We've got Stu with Tetra and all his products rolling out in June, July. Got to be excited about that, and no doubt many other devs that are working in the background, waiting for the market sentiment to turn. Maybe July could be absolutely flooded with protocols. We get that uptrend and break some of those levels. Could be pretty fun. So that's kind of it for me. Hope you guys enjoy it. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all those good stuff. And I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Take care. And I'm going to go to the wardrobe room and fly away. So see you later.